The sages of old taught not with words, but with silence. They knew that the greatest truths are not shouted from mountaintops, but whispered in the quiet chambers of the heart. And deep within you, in the most silent part of your being, there is a chamber just like it. Perhaps you are here because you have felt its presence. You have sensed a subtle resonance, a vibration beneath the surface of your daily life. It is a feeling that is difficult to name, a quiet hum beneath the roar of traffic, the endless notifications, the demands of the world. It is a form of listening that has little to do with your ears. Have you ever felt it? A gentle pull, a quiet knowing, a sense that there is a conversation taking place that you are only just beginning to overhear. It is a sense of homesickness for a place you have never left. This is the first sign. It is the first whisper from the universe, reminding you that you are more than your name, more than your job, more than your history. You are a vast and ancient consciousness, temporarily focused into the form you now inhabit. The journey we are about to embark upon is not a journey of learning new things. It is a journey of remembering what you have always known. This is not a lecture. There are no facts to memorize, no doctrines to adopt. This is an invitation to step out of the relentless current of time just for a while, to turn down the volume of the outer world so that you may finally hear the symphony of the inner world. Together, we will learn the language of this silent place. We will explore the messages sent to you through stillness, through synchronicity, through the quiet nudges of your intuition. We will not be seeking answers from outside, but rather creating the inner stillness required to allow the answers already within you to surface. The voice you are seeking, the guidance you crave, it is not distant, it is closer than your own breath. The universe is not shouting to be heard, it is whispering, and it is time to listen. Before you can hear the whisper of the universe, you must first recognize the screaming inside your own mind. It is not a physical sound, it is a more subtle kind of noise, a constant static in your field of being, a quiet storm you have become so accustomed to that you mistake it for who you are. This is the noise of the world, not the world outside, but the world you have allowed to be built inside your mind. Imagine your mind is like an ancient, powerful radio, capable of tuning into any frequency in the cosmos, but right now it is broken. The dial is stuck, frantically jumping between hundreds, even thousands of stations at once, creating a cacophony of static, an endless and exhausting stream of interference. There is one station that does nothing but broadcast the regrets of yesterday. It plays on a loop the things you should have said, the decisions you could have made differently. The voice on this station is melancholic. It tells a story of loss and missed opportunities, keeping you trapped in a museum of the past where every exhibit is coated in dust, yet you cannot stop polishing them. Next to it, another station screams anxieties about tomorrow. This channel broadcasts the worst-case scenarios, the fears of failure, of illness, of loneliness. It paints a future filled with pitfalls and demands that you prepare, that you strategize, that you control everything. It steals the life from this present moment to invest in an uncertain future, a future that exists only in your anxious thoughts. And then, perhaps the loudest station of all, is the station of others. This channel broadcasts the expectations of your parents, the judgments of society, the highlight reels of your friends on social media. It constantly compares you to others, telling you who you should be, what you should have, how you should feel. It creates an invisible pressure, a sense that you are always lacking, always not good enough, always running a race you don't even remember signing up for. All of these stations, the station of the past, the station of the future, the station of others, they bleed into one another, overriding each other, creating the static that you have come to call your thoughts. You have lived with this noise for so long that you believe you are the noise. You believe you are the regret, you are the anxiety, you are the comparison. The first task on this journey is not to try and find a new station, some clear, pristine frequency. The first task is simply to recognize that you are listening to static, just to recognize it, without judgment, without trying to turn it off. Join me right now in becoming an observer. Take one step back from that radio. Sit down in your inner quiet and just listen. Can you hear the noise of must do? The endless to-do list, the emails to be answered, the calls to be made. A voice inside that relentlessly prods you forward. A feeling of guilt when you rest. A belief that your value is measured by your productivity. This is the noise of busyness. It makes you believe that to stop is to die, that stillness is laziness. It worships the act of doing and despises the state of being. Just become aware of it. See it as a current of energy, a pressure to move forward. You don't have to do anything about it, just see it. Now, listen a little closer. Can you recognize the noise of must-have, that low-grade feeling of lack, the constant comparison to the lives of others you see through a screen, the craving for more money, a better job, a more perfect relationship, a more beautiful body? This is the noise of deficiency. It stems from the belief that happiness is something external, something you must achieve or acquire. It keeps your gaze forever outward, forever seeking, and therefore never finding the fullness that is already present within. Look at that feeling with the eyes of a neutral scientist. How does it feel in your body? Perhaps a tightness in the chest, an empty pit in the stomach. Just observe. And there is another, more subtle noise. The noise of must know, the need to have an opinion on everything, to analyze, to label, to judge every experience. Your mind constantly commentates on life instead of living it. This is good, that is bad. I like this, I hate that. This is the noise of the ego. It needs to define everything to feel safe, to feel that it exists. It fears mystery. It fears the simple act of not knowing. It prevents you from experiencing life directly, rawly, without the filter of thought. Recognize this inner commentator. Smile at it. It is only trying to do its job. This noise, all of these layers of noise, they are not your enemy. They are the result of defense mechanisms that have served you in the past. They are the mind's attempt to protect you from harm, to help you navigate a complex world. The problem is not the noise itself. The problem is your complete identification with it. You have forgotten that you are the listener, not the noise. The act of noticing that you are performing right now is the first step in breaking that identification. Every time you notice an anxious thought without being carried away by it, you are creating a space. Every time you feel a sense of lack without judging it, you are reclaiming your power. Every time you hear the inner commentator and simply smile, you are affirming that you are greater than your mind. You are like someone who has just lit a small candle in a vast, dark and noisy room. The candle does not make the noise disappear instantly, but for the first time, its light allows you to see the chaos clearly. You see the shadows dancing on the walls, you see the source of the sounds, and most importantly, you realize that you are the one holding the candle. You are the light of awareness, separate from the darkness and chaos it illuminates. Do not try to fight the noise. Do not try to silence it. That only creates more conflict, more noise. Your only task for now is to continue holding the candle of awareness. Let the noise be there. Let it scream. Let it whisper. Let it tell its stories. You just sit and watch. By watching without engagement, you stop feeding it your energy. You withdraw your attention, which is its lifeblood. Slowly, very slowly, like a fire without fresh wood, those loud stations will lose their power. They will begin to fade. Once you recognize the noise, once you have separated yourself from it for even a moment, something magical happens. A curiosity arises. A curiosity about what lies on the other side of the chaos. A curiosity about the silence the noise has been covering. That curiosity is the call of your soul. It is the doorway opening to another space entirely, a space that lies between your thoughts, a silence that holds all the answers you seek. That is where we will journey to next. We have stood together in the inner room of your being, holding the candle of awareness, and for perhaps the first time, have truly seen the chaos within. We have seen the non-stop radio stations broadcasting news from yesterday and tomorrow, from comparison and judgment. We have recognized the noise. Now, I invite you to do something even more simple and more profound. Do not try to change what the candle illuminates. Instead, gently shift your attention from the objects in the room and begin to feel the very space of the room itself. Do not focus on the clouds as they drift by. Feel the vastness of the sky. This is one of the most vital secrets held by the sages. Liberation is not found in having better, more positive thoughts. Liberation is found in realizing that you are not your thoughts at all. Your thoughts are like clouds passing through the sky. There are white, fluffy, gentle clouds. These are your happy thoughts, your pleasant memories, your creative ideas. There are dark, heavy, storm clouds that carry thunder and lightning. These are your fears, your anger, your self-judgments. Some clouds move quickly, others seem to linger for hours. But they all share one fundamental characteristic. They are transient. They come, they stay for a while, and then they go. They are not permanent, and they are not the sky. You are not the clouds. You are the sky. Let this truth permeate your being for a moment. You are the vast, still, transparent space in which all clouds of thought and emotion are allowed to arise and pass away. The sky does not try to cling to the beautiful white clouds, nor does it try to fight or push away the storm clouds. It simply is. It is vast, open, and unaffected. The nature of the sky is peace. A violent storm may obscure the blue sky, but it can never stain it or harm it. When the storm passes, the sky remains, as pristine and silent as if nothing ever happened. Our suffering comes from a tragic case of mistaken identity. We have forgotten that we are the sky, and we have come to believe that we are a cloud. When a negative thought appears, we believe, I am a negative person. When a feeling of anxiety arises, we believe, I am an anxious person. We identify ourselves with a temporary phenomenon, and so we are tossed about in its impermanence. Your real power, your unshakable peace, is not found in controlling the weather of your mind. It is found in remembering that you are the sky. So how do we experience this, not just as a beautiful concept, but as a living reality? We do it by finding the gaps between the clouds. Let us practice this together, right now. Wherever you are, sitting or lying down, allow your body to be comfortable. If it feels right, gently close your eyes. If not, simply let your gaze rest softly downwards. There is no need to strive for anything. There is no success or failure here. There is only gentle, loving observation. Now, turn your attention inward. Become a gatekeeper, sitting at the threshold of your own mind. Your job is not to block anyone from entering or leaving. Your job is to simply watch. Wait for your next thought to arise. Do not go looking for it. Simply wait in the stillness. Ah, there it is. Perhaps it is an image, a word, a sentence. Perhaps it is a fragment of a memory, a plan for the afternoon, a line of self-criticism. Whatever it is, do not judge it. Do not analyze it. Do not try to push it away. Simply acknowledge its presence. Say silently to yourself, ah, a thought. See it as you would see a leaf floating on a stream. You do not jump into the river to grab it or push it along. You simply sit on the bank and watch it float by. The thought may linger for a moment. Just keep watching it. Eventually, it will dissolve. And this is the most important moment. In that flicker of an instant, as the old thought dissolves and before a new thought has time to arise, there is a space, a gap, a pause in the incessant flow of mind. Did you notice it? It may last only a millisecond, a moment of pure silence, a moment with no commentary, no past, no future, just pure, simple awareness. That is the sky, peeking through the gap between the clouds. Do not try to grasp it or prolong it. The effort to do so is, itself, another thought, another cloud. When you notice you are trying, just smile and gently let go of that effort. Simply recognize the gap when it appears on its own. Let your attention rest in it, even for a brief flash. As you continue this practice of observation, something miraculous begins to happen. You will find that the gaps start appearing more frequently. They start to last a little longer. You are gradually shifting your primary focus from the clouds to the sky itself. You are training your mind to find its peace, not in the absence of thought, but in the space that contains all thought. That space is not an empty void. It is vibrant and full of life. It is a potent, powerful silence. It is the source code of all creation, all intuition, all insight. When you allow yourself to rest in that space, you are reconnecting with your deepest nature, with the intelligence of the universe. The answers you seek are not found in the noisy thoughts. They are found in this silence. The whisper of the universe cannot be heard by a mind in a storm. It can only be felt in the stillness of the inner sky. Continue to watch. A thought about work. Acknowledge it passes. A gap. A thought about a loved one. Acknowledge it passes. A gap. A feeling of restlessness in the body. Acknowledge it is there. A gap. You are learning to no longer be a passive passenger on the roller coaster of your mind. You are becoming the observer, the one who stands at the station, watching the trains come and go with a sense of calm detachment. You realize you do not have to get on every train. You have a choice, and the first and most powerful choice is to remain in the stillness of the station, to remain in the space of your own awareness. This practice is the foundation for everything that follows. Because once you can find and abide in the space between your thoughts, you have found the doorway to all deeper dimensions of being. You have found the silent, still point from which you can witness the entire dance of life without being swept away by it. Carry this image with you into your daily life. When you find yourself stressed, anxious, carried away by a stream of negative thinking, pause for a second. Take one conscious breath, and remember, I am not this cloud, I am the sky. Instantly, with just that remembrance, a space is created, a separation occurs. And in that space, you will find your power, your choice, and your peace. As you begin to reside in this space more often, a stunning realization will begin to dawn. You will see that the person you thought you were, the self stitched together from stories, memories, beliefs, and emotions, is not, in fact, your true identity. You will begin to realize an even more profound truth. You are not your mind. We have stood together on the shore, watching the clouds of thought drift across the inner sky. We have touched the stillness, felt the vastness of the sky of consciousness, the background upon which all mental phenomena play out. Now, the time has come to ask a more profound question. If I am the sky, then who is it that has been mistaking itself for a cloud all this time? Who is it that suffers when the storm rages and rejoices superficially when the sky is clear? The answer is the mind-made self, the person you think you are. And the greatest truth you can ever discover on this journey is this: you are not your mind. From the time we are children, we begin to construct an identity. It starts with a name, a body. It then gathers labels: gender, nationality, family. As we grow, this structure becomes more complex. It weaves a story from our memories. It attaches itself to our successes and our failures. I am a good student. I am a shy person. I was hurt in the past. I am strong and independent. It creates a character, a role, from a collection of beliefs, opinions, likes and dislikes. This structure, this character, this story is what is known as the ego. The ego is not you. It is a survival mechanism that has become overactive. It is a psychological tool necessary for interacting with the world, but we have made a critical error. We have come to believe that we are the tool. We have mistaken the story for the storyteller, and this is the root of all suffering, because that story is incredibly fragile. It needs to be defended, to be validated, constantly. It lives on comparison, on judgment, on the past and the future. It cannot survive in the pure presence of the now. It is a ghost woven from thought. Imagine that you are a lighthouse. Your true nature, the silent awareness that you are, is this lighthouse. It stands firm and tall on a foundation of solid granite, rooted deep in the earth. Its only function is to shine, to emit a pure, steady, unchanging beam of light. That light is your presence, your pure consciousness. Now, imagine that your mind and your emotions are the weather around the lighthouse. There are days when the sea is as calm as glass. The sun is warm, not a cloud in sight. These are the times when your mind is peaceful, your emotions pleasant. But there are also days of terrifying storms. The sky turns black, thunder roars, and colossal, angry waves, as high as buildings, scream and crash against the body of the lighthouse. Their power seems destructive. They obscure the view, creating a scene of chaos and fear. And here is the most important truth. No matter how violent the storm, no matter how powerful the waves, they can never, ever harm the lighthouse. They can drench its stone surface, but they cannot shake its foundation. They can temporarily obscure its light, but they cannot extinguish the source of light within. The storm comes, and the storm goes. The lighthouse remains. It is not the storm. It is the witness of the storm. Your suffering arises when the lighthouse forgets it is a lighthouse and begins to believe it is the storm. When a wave of anger crashes against it, you say, "I am angry." You have identified your light with the wave. When a fog of sadness rolls in, you say, "I am sad." You have identified your steadfastness with the fog. You have become lost in the drama of the weather, forgetting that your very nature is the stillness, the light, the unchanging strength that witnesses it all. So how do we recognize the voice of the storm, the voice of the ego, in our daily lives? It is subtle, but it always leaves clues. Notice the need to be right. In an argument, when you feel that heat in your chest, that compulsion to have the last word, to prove your point is the logical one, that is not you. That is the ego defending its territory, its story of "I am smart, I know better." The ego fears being wrong because it believes that if its story is wrong, it will die. Notice when you take things personally. When someone offers a criticism or even just a casual remark and you feel a sting of hurt, of being offended, ask yourself, who is it that is offended here? Is it the solid lighthouse? Or is it a fragile image of yourself that you have constructed, a story of "I am a good person, I deserve respect"? The ego is hypersensitive. It views everything as either an attack on or a compliment to its story. Notice the habit of complaining and playing the victim, that inner voice that constantly narrates how unfair life is, how badly others have treated you, how circumstances have held you back. Poor me. This is one of the ego's favorite strategies for strengthening itself. By blaming the external, it creates a powerful victim identity and solicits attention and pity. Notice the constant comparison. As you scroll through your phone and feel a flash of pleasure at being better than someone else, or a pang of misery at being less than, that is the ego, trying to determine its own value by measuring itself against other stories. It has no intrinsic worth, so it must borrow it from the outside. The next time you recognize one of these patterns, do not try to suppress it. Do not berate yourself for having such thoughts. Berating yourself is just another, more subtle, egoic trick. Instead, do something revolutionary. Just see it. Shine the light of your awareness, the light of the lighthouse onto that wave. When you feel anger rising, say silently, I am aware of a powerful energy of anger arising in me. A wave is coming. When you hear the complaining voice, just smile and acknowledge, there is the ego's victim story being told. In the moment you do that, a miracle occurs. You have created a space. You are no longer the wave. You are the one watching the wave. The observer is not the observed. The awareness is not the thought. You are not your mind. This is liberation. It does not mean you will never feel anger, sadness, or fear again. The weather will always change. Storms will always come. But you will no longer be drowned by them. You will no longer believe that you are them. You will feel them. Allow them to pass through your field of energy, but your center of gravity will remain firmly in the silent, witnessing awareness. You will learn to ride the waves of life, instead of being crushed by them. You do not need to destroy the ego. You cannot fight a ghost. You simply need to stop giving it the one thing it craves, your belief. By observing it with detachment, you withdraw your identification with it. And without your belief, the story of the ego loses its power. It becomes transparent, like a ghost seen in the full light of day. When you are no longer a prisoner in the jail of your personal story, a whole new world opens up. Your mind, instead of being a tyrannical master, becomes a useful servant, and your eyes, no longer clouded by the fog of the ego, begin to perceive that the universe is constantly communicating with you in ways you were blind to before. You begin to see the signs, the meaningful coincidences. You begin to learn a new language, not the language of thought, but the language of synchronicity. When the walls of the ego's prison begin to turn transparent, when the incessant screaming of the mind softens to a whisper, you start to notice something magical. The world around you seems to change, although nothing has actually changed at all. You begin to perceive that life is not a series of random, chaotic, and meaningless events. There is a hidden order, a profound intelligence at work, a sacred language being spoken in every moment. This is the language of synchronicity. Synchronicity, or meaningful coincidence, is one of the primary ways the universe communicates directly with you. It is not just random chance. Bumping into an old friend in a faraway city is a coincidence. But thinking about changing your career path, feeling lost and confused, and then bumping into that old friend who happens to be a successful career coach and offers you the exact insight you need to hear, that is synchronicity. It is when an event in the outer world resonates perfectly with a state in your inner world, a question, a sorrow, an intention. It is a wink from the universe, a confirmation that you are being heard, that you are part of a conversation much larger than yourself. To understand this, let us use a metaphor. Imagine that life is a colossal tapestry being woven by an unseen weaver, by the universe itself. From our perspective, as tiny figures living and moving upon this tapestry, we can only see the underside of it. And what does the underside of a tapestry look like? It is a mess of tangled threads of every color, of thick knots, of stitches that seem to go nowhere, following no discernible pattern. From this viewpoint, life can seem full of absurd events, meaningless suffering, dead ends, and disconnected happenings. We see the black thread of sorrow lying right next to the golden thread of joy and wonder why. We see a giant knot of a challenge and view it as a punishment or a failure. But the weaver, from above, sees the front of the tapestry. From that perspective, not a single thread is out of place, not a single knot is without purpose. Everything is deliberate. The black thread of sorrow is necessary to accentuate the brilliance of the golden thread. The knot of a challenge is the very anchor that holds an entire, intricate, beautiful pattern in place. Every single stitch, no matter how random it appears from below, is a stroke of genius contributing to a breathtaking masterpiece. A synchronicity is a moment when the weaver, in its grace, allows you a brief glimpse of the top side of the tapestry. It is the moment you suddenly see the connection between two threads you thought were completely separate. The moment you are thinking of a question, an inner thread, and immediately hear the answer on the radio, an outer thread. In that flash of insight, you understand. You understand that there is an order, a beauty, a purpose behind the apparent chaos. You are reassured that you are not lost in a tangle of threads, but are an essential and beloved part of a great work of art. So how do we learn to read this subtle language? How do we recognize these winks from the universe in the stream of our lives? The first prerequisite is the stillness we have been cultivating in the previous sections. Synchronicity whispers, it does not shout. If your mind is still a noisy marketplace, you will miss the gentle voice. Only when you are the quiet sky can you notice the messages being written by the clouds. Haste is the enemy of synchronicity. When you are rushing through your life at full speed, you will run past all the signs that have been placed delicately on your path. Slow down, breathe, be present. Second, pay attention to repetition. Repetition is one of the universe's favorite tools for getting your attention. Do you keep seeing a particular sequence of numbers? 11, 11, 444, 222. Do you happen to hear the same song in 3 different places in one day? Do you meet different people who all bring up the same topic you have been grappling with? When something repeats, do not dismiss it as mere coincidence. See it as a gentle knock on your door. The universe is saying, hello, I have something I want to show you. Are you paying attention? Third, trust the feeling. A true synchronicity is always accompanied by a very specific feeling. It is not an intellectual analysis. It is a jolt in the chest, a shiver, a case of goosebumps, a feeling of awe and wonder, a deep sense that this means something. Learn to trust that feeling. It is your soul's seal of confirmation, signaling that this is not random. This is a message. To put this into effective practice, I encourage you to do something very simple. Start a synchronicity journal. Get a small notebook and dedicate it to these little miracles. Every time you experience a meaningful coincidence, write it down. Record the external event that happened. More importantly, record your internal state just before and during the event. What were you thinking? What were you feeling? What question were you struggling with? Then, take a moment to contemplate. What might the message be here? What is it guiding me toward? What is it confirming? The act of writing not only helps you remember, but it also trains your mind to become more adept at recognizing patterns. Over time, you will see that these events are not isolated. They connect with one another, forming an ongoing dialogue between you and the universe. Synchronicity serves many purposes. Sometimes it is guidance. It appears to show you a new path or to affirm that the path you are on is the right one. Sometimes it is confirmation. You have just made a difficult decision, and immediately the universe sends a sign that you have chosen correctly. Sometimes it is comfort. In your moments of deepest loneliness and despair, a synchronicity can arrive to remind you that you are never alone, that you are always being held and watched over by a loving intelligence. It is a reminder that the weaver has not forgotten your thread. When you begin to live in awareness of this language, life transforms from a solitary struggle into a collaborative dance. You are no longer a victim of random circumstance. You become a conversational partner, a co-creator with the universe. You begin to trust the flow, to trust that everything happens for a reason, even when you cannot yet see the full picture. And as you learn to read these external signs, you will realize something even more wonderful. The universe did not just give you signals, it also equipped you with a built-in translation device, an inner compass, to understand what they mean. That compass is not far away. It is right in your own heart. It is your intuition. We have seen how the universe speaks in the external world through the language of synchronicity, weaving a tapestry of meaning behind the veil of the ordinary. We have learned to look for the signs, the patterns, the gentle winks from a loving intelligence. But a map, no matter how detailed, is of little use if you do not have a compass. How do you interpret these signs? How do you know which path to take when a crossroads appears? The universe, in its infinite wisdom, did not just give you an external map, it placed a compass directly in your heart. This inner compass, this direct line to the universal mind, is your intuition. Honoring it is one of the most essential skills on the spiritual path. Intuition is the native language of your soul. It is the quiet whisper beneath the loud chatter of your rational mind. Your logical mind is a powerful and necessary tool. It analyzes data, it weighs pros and cons, it builds arguments based on past evidence. Logic is linear. It takes you step by step from A to B to C. It is the language of the known. Intuition, however, is holistic. It does not operate on a linear timeline. It makes a quantum leap from A directly to Z without showing you the steps in between. It is a direct download of knowing, a feeling of truth that arrives fully formed without a logical explanation to back it up. This is why the conditioned mind so often distrusts it. The ego, which we explored earlier, wants proof. It wants a 5-point plan. It wants guarantees based on past performance. Intuition offers none of these things. It simply offers a quiet, profound sense of knowing. It does not argue or try to convince you. It merely presents itself as a quiet truth. To hear it, you must first be willing to step beyond the need for reasons. Think of your rational mind as the network of roads and highways built on the surface of the earth. These roads are useful, predictable, and necessary for navigating the known world. They can take you to familiar cities and destinations efficiently, but your intuition is like a vast, silent river flowing deep underground. The surface roads can never take you to the most fertile, hidden, and magical places. The underground river, however, nourishes the land from below, creating unexpected oases of life, causing wildflowers to bloom in the middle of a desert. You do not always see this river. You cannot map its exact course with your logical tools, but you can learn to sense its presence. You can feel the coolness in the soil above it. You can see the vibrant life it supports. You can taste the sweetness of the water from a well that taps into its flow. In the same way, you do not think an intuition. You feel its resonance in your body, its quiet certainty, its life-giving energy. The greatest challenge for anyone on this path is learning to distinguish the voice of intuition from the loud, convincing voice of fear. Fear is the ego's primary tool for keeping you safe in your comfort zone, for preventing you from taking the leaps that your soul came here to take. These two voices feel profoundly different in the body and in the spirit, and learning to tell them apart is a revolutionary act. Let us examine their qualities. The voice of genuine intuition is almost always calm. It is quiet, neutral, and matter-of-fact. It feels expansive in your body, like an opening, a gentle release. It feels like a green light, a subtle yes. Even if the intuition is guiding you toward a difficult action like ending a relationship or leaving a job, there is an underlying sense of peace and rightness to it. It doesn't feel frantic. It is focused on the present moment. It gives you the next right step, not a detailed 10-year blueprint filled with potential disasters. The message is often very simple. Go left. Wait. Trust this person. Say no. It comes without a long, dramatic story attached. The voice of fear, on the other hand, is the voice of the ego. Its quality is loud, frantic, and urgent. It often has a panicked, what-if energy. It uses emotionally charged language and loves to create drama. In your body, it feels contractive. It is a tightening in your chest, a knot in your stomach, a closing off. It feels like a red light, or like the walls of a cage are closing in. Fear is almost never focused on the present. It is obsessed with the past and the future. It replays past traumas and projects worst-case scenarios onto what is to come. And unlike the simple message of intuition, the voice of fear always comes with a long, complex and convincing story. It tells you all the reasons why you shouldn't do something, usually by referencing a painful memory. Don't trust that person. Remember when you were betrayed before? Don't start that business. What if you fail just like that other time? Fear is a storyteller. Intuition is a quiet guide. Learning to strengthen your connection to this inner compass is a practice like any other. It begins with your willingness to listen. Start by practicing with small, low-stakes decisions. When you're driving, ask your intuition, should I take this route home or the other one? And go with the first subtle feeling that arises, without second-guessing it. When you're in a bookstore, instead of reading reviews, close your eyes, run your hand over the spines, and ask, which book has a message for me right now? See which one feels different to your touch. These small acts build trust. Spend time in nature. The natural world operates entirely on intuition, outside the noisy frequency of the human analytical mind. A tree does not logically deduce when to drop its leaves. A bird does not create a pro and con list before migrating. Being in nature recalibrates your own senses to this deeper, quieter form of knowing. And, of course, continue your practice of stillness. The quieter your mind, the louder the whisper of intuition becomes. Every moment you spend simply being, watching your thoughts without identifying with them, you are clearing the channel for your inner guidance to come through more clearly. When you do receive an intuitive nudge and you follow it, take a moment to acknowledge it. Say a silent thank you. This creates a positive feedback loop. You are signaling to the universe and to your own deeper self that you are listening. And the more you listen, the more you will be given to hear. The more you trust, the more trustworthy your guidance will become. Your intuition is a sacred gift, an ever-present guide that knows the way. It is your personal hotline to the wisdom of the cosmos. But sometimes, even when the compass points true north, even when we know the right path, we find ourselves unable to move. We feel stuck, paralyzed by an invisible weight. This is because the channel for our intuitive energy, the riverbed itself, is blocked by the heavy silt and debris of our past. To truly hear, and more importantly, to follow our intuition with courage and clarity, we must first learn the sacred art of releasing the weight of yesterday. We have arrived at a crucial threshold in our journey. We have learned to recognize the external signs from the universe through the language of synchronicity, and we have begun to honor the internal compass of our intuition. We have the map, and we have the compass. Yet, so often, we find ourselves standing at a clear crossroads, the compass needle pointing true, and still we feel unable to take a step. There is an invisible weight, a heavy anchor dragging from behind that holds us in place. This anchor is the undigested, unprocessed energy of our past. To truly heed the call of our soul and move forward into the life that is waiting for us, we must first learn the sacred and liberating art of releasing the weight of yesterday. This weight is not merely a collection of memories stored in the brain. A memory, in itself, is neutral. The weight comes from the emotional charge that remains attached to those memories, like a ghost haunting an old house. It is the energy of every grievance you have held onto, every resentment you have nurtured, every pang of guilt that you have replayed, every sorrow you did not allow yourself to fully feel. Imagine your personal energy field, your very life force, as the operating power of a sophisticated computer. Every unresolved emotional event from your past is like an old, inefficient program running in the background. It consumes immense amounts of your processing power and your energy. One program is constantly replaying an argument from 10 years ago. Another is endlessly calculating what you should have done differently in a past relationship. A third is scanning for any situation that might resemble a past betrayal. With all this energy being consumed by the past, how can there be any left for the present moment? How can you have the power to create a new future? Holding on to this weight keeps your vibrational frequency low, tethered to the very pain you wish to escape. You cannot receive the new, high-frequency transmissions from the universe when your inner receiver is clogged with the static of old heartaches. There is an old saying that speaks a profound truth. Holding on to resentment is like grasping a burning hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. This is the illusion that keeps us trapped. We believe our anger, our bitterness, our refusal to forgive is a weapon we are wielding against the person who hurt us. We think our righteous indignation is somehow punishing them. But who is feeling the searing pain? Who is smelling the burning of their own flesh? Who is scarred and disfigured by the act of holding on? You are. The other person may be living their life miles away, completely unaware of the turmoil you are putting yourself through. You are the one drinking the poison and hoping the other person will die. Forgiveness, then, is not what we have been taught to believe it is. It is not a sign of weakness. It is not about condoning what happened, saying it was okay, or letting the other person off the hook. It has almost nothing to do with the other person. Forgiveness is the act of profound self-love and radical self-preservation. It is the moment you decide that your own peace is more important than your ego's need to be right. It is the moment you look at the burning coal in your hand and say, "I am done with this pain." And you simply open your hand. You let the coal drop to the ground. You do not have to throw it. You do not have to do anything with it. You just let it go. And then, for the first time, you can begin to tend to your own wound. You can bring healing to your own hand. That is forgiveness, the act of opening your hand for your own sake. To truly release this weight, we must first identify what it is we are carrying. Let us shine the light of our awareness on the specific forms this baggage takes, for in seeing it clearly, we begin to reclaim our power over it. The most common form is resentment and grievance held towards others. This is the story of being wronged, the narrative of victimhood. The ego loves this story. It replays the mental movies of the betrayal, the injustice, the hurtful words, over and over again. It does this because there is a secret payoff. It gets to feel morally superior. It gets to be the good one who was wronged by the bad one. This feeling can be addictive, but the cost is immense. When you hold a grievance against someone, you are energetically tethered to them with a toxic cord. They live inside your head, rent-free, consuming your thoughts and emotions. You have given them the power to continue hurting you long after the initial event has passed. Every time you replay the story, you are re-injuring yourself, re-traumatizing your own energy field. Releasing this means being willing to give up the satisfaction of being right in exchange for the freedom of being at peace. It means cutting that toxic cord and reclaiming your sacred inner space for yourself. Another heavy burden is that of guilt and shame, which is resentment turned inward. Guilt is the feeling I did something wrong. Shame is the much deeper, more toxic feeling I am something wrong. Many of us are carrying the weight of past mistakes, punishing ourselves for years, even decades, for choices we made when we were younger, less aware, or in a different state of consciousness. We hold ourselves to a standard of perfection that we would never demand of others. We become our own harshest judge and cruelest jailer. Forgiving yourself is perhaps the most challenging and most necessary act of release. It requires a profound compassion for the person you once were. It demands that you look back at your younger self, not with judgment, but with understanding. That person did the best they could with the knowledge and tools they had at that time. If they had known better, they would have done better. Releasing guilt is not about erasing the past, but about accepting it without continuing to punish yourself for it. It is about finally giving yourself the grace you so freely offer to others. Then there is the ghost-like energy of regret, the land of what-ifs and should-haves. What if I had taken that job? What if I had said yes to that person? What if I had moved to that city? We haunt ourselves with the ghosts of unlived lives, idealizing paths not taken, and, in doing so, devaluing the path we are actually on. Regret keeps us trapped in a fantasy past, preventing us from fully engaging with the life that is right here, now. To release regret, we must embrace the radical trust that our soul's journey has been perfect, even with its detours and apparent mistakes. Every choice, every wrong turn, was necessary to bring us to this exact moment of awakening. The path not taken was not your path. Its purpose was merely to lead you to where you are now. By honoring all of your past choices as integral parts of your journey, you can release the energy of regret and bring your full presence back to the only place life ever happens, this moment. Finally, there is the stagnant weight of unprocessed sorrow and grief. In a world that often fears deep emotion, many of us have been taught to suppress our grief, to be strong, to move on too quickly. But grief that is not felt, honored, and allowed to move through us does not disappear. It becomes trapped in our bodies and our energy fields as a dense, heavy, and melancholic weight. It can manifest as depression, anxiety, or a persistent feeling of numbness. The fear of feeling the full depth of our sorrow is what paradoxically keeps that sorrow alive within us indefinitely. The only way to release it is to be willing to feel it, to allow grief to be what it is, a powerful river of emotion that is simply asking to flow. When you give it permission, when you create a safe space to let the river flow, it will eventually pass through you, cleansing you, and leaving you renewed on the other side. Now, let us move from understanding to practice. I invite you to join me in a sacred visualization of release. This is your time to heal. Find a comfortable position where you will not be disturbed. Gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, let go of the day. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, allow your body to soften. Now, in your mind's eye, I want you to create a sacred, safe space. This can be any place where you feel completely at peace and protected. Perhaps it is a sun-drenched, empty beach with the sound of gentle waves. Perhaps it is a quiet clearing in an ancient forest, sunlight filtering through the leaves. Or maybe it is a majestic, silent temple. See this space in detail. Feel the air on your skin. Hear the sounds. Know that you are completely safe here. Now, with gentle intention, ask for one of the burdens you are carrying to make itself known. Do not force it. Just ask, what is ready to be healed today? Perhaps the face of a person you resent will appear. Perhaps a memory of a past mistake will surface. Trust what comes. As this energy arises, notice where you feel it in your body. Is it a tightness in your throat, a heavy weight on your chest, a knot in your stomach? Just notice it without judgment. Give it a shape, a color, a texture. Acknowledge its presence. If the burden is a resentment towards another person, invite a loving, transparent image of that person into your sacred space. They cannot harm you here. You are in control. See them standing before you. Look them in the eyes and, speaking from your heart, silently or aloud, say these words of release. I see you. I acknowledge the pain that passed between us. I have carried this story for long enough. For the sake of my own peace, for the freedom of my own soul, I am now choosing to let this go. I release you from my anger. I release you from my judgment. I release you from the story I have held about you. I take my energy back, and I give you yours back. I set you free from my inner world, and in doing so, I set myself free. As you say these words, visualize the energetic cord that connects you to them dissolving into light. Watch their image fade peacefully, leaving you alone in your sanctuary. If the burden is one of guilt or shame towards yourself, I want you to invite an image of your younger self into your space, the self who made the mistake. See that younger you, full of the confusion, pain, or ignorance of that time. Look at this younger self not with judgment, but with the immense compassion of your higher self. Open your arms and embrace this version of you. Hold them close and whisper to them, I see you. I know you did the best you could with the understanding you had at the time. I forgive you. I forgive you completely and unconditionally. I release you from the burden of this mistake. You are not defined by your past actions. You are worthy of love and forgiveness. I welcome you back home, into my heart. Feel the energy of that younger self integrating back into your being, no longer a fractured, exiled part, but a loved and accepted piece of your whole story. Now, turn your attention back to the dense energy you located in your body. Visualize it, and with a powerful intention, command it to leave your system. See it dissolving into harmless, neutral light. Or imagine roots growing from your feet deep into the earth, and see this heavy energy flowing down those roots, being composted and transformed by Mother Earth. Or feel a divine wind blowing through your sacred space, carrying the old energy away until it is completely gone. As you feel the space where the burden once was, do not leave it empty. Inhale deeply and imagine you are breathing in a beautiful, healing, golden white light. Let this light fill every cell of your body, paying special attention to the space that has just been cleared. Fill yourself with the frequency of peace, of compassion, of self-love, of freedom. Rest in this feeling. Know that you are whole, you are cleansed, you are free. When you are ready, gently bring your awareness back to your physical body. Feel the chair or floor beneath you. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you open your eyes, open them to a world seen with new clarity, with a new lightness of being. This practice is not a one-time event. It is a form of spiritual hygiene, like weeding a garden. Layers may appear over time, and you can return to this sacred space whenever you need to. But know that with the conscious act of release you have just performed, you have fundamentally altered your energetic field. You have dropped the hot coal. You have opened your hands. And now that your hands are finally open, now that the channel is clear, you are ready to receive. You are ready to truly understand the very substance that flows through this channel, the currency of the universe, the language of reality itself. You are ready to explore the powerful and creative force of the frequency of your own being. Having released the dense, heavy baggage of yesterday, you can now feel a new lightness in your being. The inner space that was once cluttered with old grievances and regrets is now open, clear, and quiet. In this newfound clarity, you are able to perceive a deeper, more fundamental truth about the nature of yourself and the world you inhabit. You are ready to understand that you are not merely a solid body navigating a solid world, but a being of pure energy, constantly interacting with a vibrant, energetic universe. The mystics and sages of all traditions have always known this, and now our own modern science is beginning to echo this ancient wisdom. When we look deep into the heart of matter, past the molecules, past the atoms, past the electrons, we find there is nothing solid there. There is only energy, vortices of energy, vibrating at different speeds, creating the illusion of solidity. The chair you are sitting on, the air you are breathing, the body you call your own, it is all, at its most fundamental level, energy in motion. It is all vibration and frequency. You are not a noun, you are a verb. You are not a static object, but a dynamic field of consciousness, a living, breathing symphony of frequencies. And the universe around you is a vast, resonant ocean of energy. This is the secret to understanding your power as a creator. The creative laws of the universe are not based on luck, effort, or even morality. They are based on physics, the physics of resonance. Imagine yourself as a powerful, living broadcasting tower. Every moment of every day, you are sending a signal out into the universe. This signal is not composed of words or images, but of pure frequency. And what generates this frequency? The sum total of your state of being. It is a composite of your dominant thoughts, your core beliefs, and most importantly, your prevailing emotional state. Your emotions are quite literally energy in motion. They are the carriers of your vibrational signature. Think of emotions on a scale of frequency. At the lower end of the scale, you have the dense, heavy, slow-moving frequencies of shame, guilt, fear, and anger. When these emotions dominate your being, you are broadcasting a low-frequency signal. At the higher end of the scale, you have the light, expansive, fast-moving frequencies of peace, joy, love, and gratitude. When you inhabit these states, you are broadcasting a high-frequency signal. The universe operates on one of the most fundamental laws of reality, the law of attraction. This law simply states that like attracts like. The frequency you broadcast is the frequency you attract back to you. The universe is not personal or punitive. It is impartial and magnetic. It does not give you what you say you want with your words. It does not even give you what you think you want with your surface-level thoughts. It unerringly mirrors back to you the truth of your own vibration. A broadcasting tower that is calibrated to transmit at 98.7 FM can only receive radio signals that are also resonating at 98.7 FM. It is physically impossible for it to pick up a station broadcasting at 105.5 FM. The frequencies simply do not match. This brings us to one of the most vital and often misunderstood truths of conscious creation. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. Your state of being is the signal. This is why simply repeating positive affirmations while feeling a deep sense of lack or unworthiness is often ineffective. It creates a dissonant, contradictory signal. You are thinking one thing but being another. The thought of abundance is a weak signal, easily overridden by the powerful broadcast strength feeling of lack. Your emotional state is the amplifier. It is the truth of your broadcast. A thought of a perfect relationship, amplified by a feeling of loneliness and fear of abandonment, sends out a powerful broadcast of loneliness and abandonment, and the universe, in its perfect, impersonal way, will arrange circumstances and people to match that signal. This is why the focus on doing without first aligning your being is so often a path of struggle and frustration. We think we need to take massive action to get what we want, but taking action from a low vibrational state is like trying to swim upstream against a powerful current. It is exhausting, and you make very little progress. The real work is not in the frantic doing. The real work is in the quiet, deliberate cultivation of your being. When you first tune your inner state to the frequency of what you wish to experience, the doing becomes inspired, effortless, and joyful. The current turns around and begins to flow with you, carrying you toward your desire with ease and grace. If you want to experience abundance, you must first cultivate the feeling of abundance within yourself. If you want to experience love, you must first become a beacon of love. You must tune your own instrument to the note you wish to hear in the symphony of life. So how do we become conscious broadcasters? How do we deliberately tune our frequency? We start by using our emotions as the divine guidance system they were always meant to be. Your feelings are not your enemies. They are not punishments. They are simply vibrational indicators. They are the needle on the dashboard of your being, telling you with perfect accuracy what frequency you are currently broadcasting. Feeling a negative emotion is not bad. It is simply information. It is your inner guidance system saying, "Attention, your current thought patterns are causing you to broadcast a frequency that is not in alignment with your true desires or your highest good." When you notice a low-frequency emotion, anxiety, irritation, sadness, the first step is not to resist or suppress it. As we have learned, what you resist persists. The first step is to simply acknowledge it without judgment. Okay, I am aware that I am feeling anxiety right now. I am broadcasting the frequency of anxiety. This conscious acknowledgement, in itself, begins to shift the energy because you have moved from being the emotion to being the one who is aware of the emotion. From that place of awareness, you have a choice. You can consciously choose a thought that feels slightly better. This is not about trying to jump from despair to ecstatic joy in a single leap. That is too wide a vibrational gap. It is about the gentle art of pivoting. It is about reaching for the next best feeling thought you can find. If you are feeling worried about money, you probably cannot jump to feeling like a millionaire. But perhaps you can shift from the thought, "I'll never have enough," to, "Okay, I have enough for today." Or I can appreciate the roof over my head. Or I can remember a time when things worked out for me. Each small step up the emotional scale changes your broadcast, however subtly. By consciously choosing thoughts, memories, and activities that cultivate the feeling of what you wish to experience, you begin to deliberately recalibrate your own frequency. You become the master of your own energy. You are the creative center of your reality. Your power does not lie in manipulating the outer world, but in mastering your inner world. Your state of being is your ultimate creative tool. The frequency you hold is the world you will behold. So, if our state of being is the key, what is the most powerful and direct way to shift our frequency from one of lack to one of profound abundance? What is the master key that tunes our instrument to the frequency of love, joy, and universal harmony? The answer is simple, yet it holds the power to change everything. It is the divine alchemy of gratitude. We have established a foundational truth. You are a being of frequency, and your dominant vibration, your state of being, is the creative force that shapes your reality. The universe resonates with what you are. This naturally leads to the most vital and practical question on this entire journey. What is the fastest, most powerful, and most direct way to consciously elevate our state of being? How do we deliberately tune our signal from the static of fear and lack to the clear, coherent symphony of love and abundance? The answer is not found in a complex technique, a secret mantra, or an arduous practice. The master key, the ultimate tool for vibrational alchemy, is the most humble, yet most potent of all human emotions. It is the divine and transformative power of gratitude. To the logical mind, this may sound simplistic. We have been taught to think of gratitude as a polite thank you, a passive response we have after we receive something good. But in the energetic reality of the universe, this sequence is reversed. Gratitude is not the response to a gift. Gratitude is the cause of the gift. It is the active, creative frequency that draws positive experiences into your life. It is the language of receiving. Let us explore the metaphysics of why this is so. When you are in a state of complaint, worry, anxiety, or lack, your entire focus, your mental and emotional energies fixed upon what is missing, what is wrong, what you do not have. You are broadcasting the frequency of absence and not enough. The universe, obeying the law of attraction, must then faithfully mirror this broadcast back to you, providing you with more circumstances that validate the feeling of not enough. Gratitude performs a miraculous and instantaneous shift. By its very nature, the act of feeling genuinely grateful forces your attention onto what is present, what is good, what you do have. You simply cannot feel sincere gratitude and feel lack at the same time, the two frequencies are mutually exclusive. In the moment you shift into a state of gratitude, you have changed the broadcast. You have switched from the frequency of absence to the frequency of presence, from the energy of lack to the energy of abundance. This shift sends a powerful, unambiguous signal out into the universal field. Genuine, heartfelt gratitude is a declaration. It is a transmission that says, I am provided for, I am supported, I am blessed, I have enough. In a universe that operates on the principle of like attracting like, there can be only one response to such a signal: more things to be grateful for. The universe says yes to the truth of your vibration. If your vibration is, I am so grateful for the abundance in my life, the universe must arrange energy, people, and circumstances to bring you more abundance. Gratitude is the energetic signature of a reality fulfilled. Think of it like this: your perspective is like the lens of a camera. So many of us go through life with the lens zoomed in with a macro focus on a tiny crack in the wall of our life. It could be a financial problem, a health issue, a difficult relationship. We obsess over this tiny crack, analyze it, talk about it, and feel the misery of it. Our entire world, our entire emotional reality becomes this one single flaw. The practice of gratitude is the act of deliberately pulling the camera's zoom back. As you pull back from the crack, you begin to see more of the room. You notice the beautiful painting hanging next to the crack. You see the comfortable chair, the warm sunlight streaming through the window, the beloved person or pet sitting peacefully across from you. The crack is still there, it hasn't vanished, but it has been put back into its proper perspective. It is a tiny detail in a vast, beautiful, warm, and loving room. The reality did not change, but your focus did. And in changing your focus, you changed your feeling. In changing your feeling, you changed your frequency. And in changing your frequency, you have changed the reality you will attract tomorrow. The true alchemy of gratitude, however, lies not in a mechanical, intellectual listing of things. The universe does not respond to a list, it responds to a feeling. You can write down, I am grateful for my health 1,000 times, but if you do so while feeling anxious about a future illness, the feeling is what broadcasts. The magic happens when you move beyond the mind and into the heart. The practice is not to think about gratitude, but to embody it, to feel it in every cell of your being. Let us practice this embodied gratitude right now. I invite you to find a still and quiet space. Close your eyes. Bring your awareness to your breath. Without changing a thing, just notice the miracle of it. This gentle, automatic rhythm of life, flowing in and out. This air, which you do not have to create or earn, entering your body, nourishing every single one of your trillions of cells. Feel a wave of gratitude for this simple, profound gift of breath. It is the foundation of your entire existence. Now, bring your awareness to your physical body. For a moment, let go of all judgments about how it looks or performs. Instead, touch it with your gratitude. Thank your heart, this incredible engine that has been beating faithfully for you every second of every day since before you were born, without a single command from you. Thank your lungs for the miracle of transforming air into life. Thank your eyes for the gift of color and light. Thank your legs for carrying you through this world. Feel a deep, sincere appreciation for the staggering intelligence that animates this body, that heals your cuts, digests your food, and allows you to experience this physical reality. Gently, expand your awareness to your immediate environment. Feel the solid surface of the chair or floor supporting you. Acknowledge this support with thanks. Think of the roof over your head, the shelter that keeps you safe and warm. Do not take it for granted. In this moment, see it as the profound blessing it is. Think of the clean water you can drink, the food you have to eat. Let the feeling of being provided for, of being safe and supported, wash over you. Feel the truth of this abundance in your heart. Now, bring into your mind the face of one person or even a pet who has touched your life with love. Do not just think about them as a concept. See their smile, hear their laughter, feel the warmth of their presence. Let yourself be flooded with the genuine feeling of love and appreciation for them being in your life. Let your heart swell with gratitude for the gift of this connection. Send that feeling of love and thanks to them from your heart to theirs. And here is a more advanced practice. Gently call to mind a challenge you have faced in your past, a difficulty you overcame. Instead of feeling the old pain associated with it, shift your perspective. Can you find gratitude for the strength that challenge forced you to discover within yourself? Can you appreciate the wisdom it taught you? Can you feel gratitude for the person you became because you went through it? This is the ultimate alchemy, transforming the lead of past pain into the gold of present wisdom. It reframes your entire history from a story of wounds to a story of empowerment. Make this a living practice. Begin or end your day by writing down 3 things you are genuinely grateful for, and take the time to feel the emotion for each one. Before you eat a meal, pause for just one moment to thank the earth, the sun, and all the hands that brought that food to your plate. When you are walking, feel gratitude for the solid earth beneath your feet. The more you look for things to be grateful for, the more you will find. The universe will delight in showing you its treasures. Living in a state of gratitude is transformative. It makes you resilient, joyful, and magnetic to goodness. Your very presence becomes a healing force in the world because you are broadcasting the high, clear, coherent frequency of love and appreciation. Gratitude is not a passive response to life. It is the active, creative force that makes a life worth living. It is the language of grace, the energy of receiving. When you have mastered the art of tuning your frequency through gratitude, you have prepared the fertile ground of your being. The soil is rich and ready. Now you are prepared to consciously plant a seed. You are ready to wield the focused, creative force that gives clear direction to your energy. You are ready to understand the incredible power of a clear intention. Through the divine alchemy of gratitude, we have tuned our inner instrument to the high and harmonious frequency of abundance. We have transformed the very ground of our being into rich, fertile soil, open and ready to receive. But the soil, no matter how rich, waits for a seed. Without a seed, its potential remains dormant. This seed, this catalyst for new creation, is your intention. While gratitude is a beautiful, expansive, and receptive energy that opens us up to the goodness of the universe, intention is a focused, directive, and creative force. It is the laser beam of consciousness. It is the act of gathering the vast, ambient energy you have cultivated and giving it a clear and specific direction. Gratitude says, "Thank you for everything." Intention says, "And now, from this place of fullness, this is what I choose to create." This is not an act of wanting, which comes from a place of lack. This is an act of creation, which comes from a place of wholeness and power. It is the moment you shift from being a passive receiver of reality to becoming an active and conscious author of it. To understand the mechanics of this profound process, let us use the metaphor of an archer. Your reality is the target. The universe is the field upon which this target is set. You are the archer. In this trinity of creation, there are 3 essential components: the arrow, the bow, and the archer's draw. The arrow is your intention itself. It is the what. For an arrow to fly true, it must be straight, clear, and well-defined. A vague or crooked arrow will wobble and miss its mark. So too must your intention be clear. You must know with crystalline clarity what it is you choose to experience. And this intention must always be framed in the positive. The creative mind does not process negatives. An intention of "I don't want to be sick" is still an arrow aimed at sickness. The clear arrow is, I am choosing to experience vibrant health and boundless energy. The intention must be a clear picture of the desired end result. The bow is your focused mind. A scattered, distracted mind is like a limp, unstrung bow. It has no tension, no power. It cannot hold an arrow, let alone launch it. All the practices of mindfulness we have explored, of watching your thoughts, of finding the space between them, these are the acts of strengthening and stringing your bow. A disciplined mind, one that can hold a single point of focus without being constantly pulled away by the chatter of the ego, becomes a powerful and resilient bow, capable of holding the immense potential energy of an intention. But the arrow and the bow are useless without the third and most vital element, the archer's draw. The draw is the power source. It is the act of pulling back the string, gathering tension and potential energy. In the realm of consciousness, this drawing force is your emotion. It is the feeling of the wish already being fulfilled. This is the secret that has been taught by the great mystics for centuries. To draw back the bowstring is to inhabit the emotional state of your desire having already come to pass. A weak or inconsistent feeling is a weak draw. The arrow, when released, will simply flop to the ground. But a powerful, sustained, deeply felt emotion is a full and mighty draw. The more you can embody the feeling of your wish being a present fact reality, the more potential energy you are gathering, and the more force your arrow will have when it is finally released. So, the process is this. With the strong bow of your focused mind, you place the clear arrow of your intention upon the string. Then, you begin to draw it back, not with physical force, but with the power of your creative imagination and emotion. You close your eyes to the outer world of appearances, the world that tells you your desire is not yet here, and you go within. The most potent time to do this is in that drowsy, magical state just before you fall asleep. The mystics have called this the state akin to sleep, or sats. In this state, the conscious, analytical mind, the gatekeeper of doubt, is relaxed and beginning to drift away. The doorway to the subconscious mind, the creative, feminine aspect of your consciousness that does not judge or analyze but simply accepts and creates, is wide open. This is where you plant your seed. Do not visualize the journey to your desire. Do not visualize the how. The how is the universe's domain, not yours. Your task is to inhabit the end result. You must craft a short, simple, sensory-rich scene that implies your wish has already been fulfilled. It should be a moment that would take place after your prayer has been answered. For example, if your intention is to find a loving partner, do not visualize the first date or the wedding. These things imply seeking. Instead, craft a scene that implies you are already in a committed, loving relationship. Perhaps the scene is simply you lying in bed, feeling the weight of a wedding ring on your finger. Feel its smoothness, its solidity. Or perhaps the scene is of you standing together, your partner's arm around you, and you hear them whisper, "I love you," and you feel the profound warmth and security of that love flooding your heart. Choose one short, simple, powerful scene. If your intention is for a new home, do not visualize the process of searching or signing papers. Assume it is already yours. Craft a scene where you are standing in your new living room. Feel the texture of the cool floorboards beneath your bare feet. Run your hand along the smooth kitchen counter. Smell the scent of fresh paint. Look out the window at your new view and feel the overwhelming emotion of, "This is mine. I am home." Once you have your short, sensory-rich scene, you enter the state akin to sleep. You relax your body and mind. Then you begin to loop this scene in your imagination over and over again, like a gentle lullaby. Each time you loop it, strive to make it more real, more vivid. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? Most importantly, what do you feel? The feeling is the secret. You must generate the emotional state that you would have if this scene were actually happening in your physical reality. You must feel the joy, the relief, the peace, the love, the security of it. You loop this scene and this feeling until it becomes so real that it is the last thing you are conscious of as you drift off into sleep. The feeling state that you carry with you into the subconscious realm is the instruction you are giving to the universe. You are impressing this new reality upon the creative canvas of consciousness. It is vital to distinguish this process from needy, desperate desire. Needy desire comes from the ego and a state of lack. Its energy is grasping, anxious, and tight. It broadcasts, "I don't have this," and so it pushes the desire further away. A clear intention comes from your creator consciousness, your higher self. Its energy is calm, confident, and magnetic. It is a choice, not a plea. And the way to ensure you are setting your intention from this high vibrational state is to always begin with gratitude. You must first be genuinely grateful for the life you have now before you ask to create something new. You do not plant a seed by cursing the empty soil. You thank the soil for its richness and potential, and then you lovingly place the seed within it. So you come to this creative act from a place of fullness, not emptiness. You, the archer, are calm and centered. With the strong bow of your focused mind, you place the clear arrow of your intention. You draw it back with the full, unwavering force of your feeling, the absolute conviction that your desire is already a fact in the unseen world. You have aimed your arrow. You have gathered your power. The target is in sight. Now comes the most crucial and often the most challenging part of the process for the human mind, which loves to control. You must open your hand. You must let the arrow fly. You must release it into the care of a power far greater than your own. This is the sacred and necessary art of surrender. The arrow of your intention has been loosed from the bow of your focused mind, propelled by the full force of your feeling. It is now flying through the unseen dimensions of reality, through the quantum field of infinite possibility, seeking the target you have chosen with your creative consciousness. And here, in this pregnant moment of release, you are faced with the ultimate and most profound test of faith. This is the moment that calls for the sacred art of surrender. In a world that worships action, control, and constant management, the word surrender is often misunderstood. We equate it with defeat, with passivity, with giving up. But in the context of spiritual law and conscious creation, surrender is the highest form of action. It is an act of immense power and supreme courage. It is the conscious and deliberate withdrawal of your own anxious, meddling, egoic energy so that the infinite intelligence of the universe can orchestrate the details of your creation in the most harmonious and miraculous way possible. It is the final, essential ingredient in the recipe of reality. This is, without question, the most difficult part of the process for the human mind. Having aimed the arrow so perfectly, the ego desperately wants to follow it. It wants to run alongside, trying to adjust its trajectory, blowing on it to make it go faster, worrying that the wind might carry it astray. The ego needs to know the how, the when, and the where. It craves control. The act of surrender is a direct threat to the ego's very existence, for it requires you to place your trust in a power that is unseen, unknowable, and far greater than your own limited perception. Let us return to a more gentle metaphor. Setting an intention is like planting a seed. You, the conscious gardener, have chosen a specific seed, the seed of vibrant health, of loving partnership, of creative fulfillment. You have prepared the soil, making it rich and fertile through the practice of gratitude. You have carefully planted the seed in the subconscious mind during that sacred, receptive state, akin to sleep. You have done your part perfectly. Now, what is the job of a wise gardener? They continue to provide the necessary conditions for growth. They water the soil with continued faith. They provide sunlight by maintaining a high, joyful vibration. They diligently pull out any weeds of doubt or fear that may sprout. But what does a wise gardener not do? They do not dig up the seed every day to check if it is sprouting. They do not anxiously poke and prod the soil, demanding to see the roots. To do so would be an act of foolishness and disbelief. It would disrupt the very process of germination and kill the potential life within the seed. This is precisely what we do when we fail to surrender. After planting our intentional seed, we immediately begin to worry. Is it working? Did I do it right? When will I see results? I don't see any changes. This frantic, doubtful energy is the energetic equivalent of digging up the seed. It scorches the soil and blocks the light. The most critical and powerful phase of creation happens underground, in the dark, in the unseen realm where you cannot perceive it with your five senses. In that hidden space, the seed is breaking open. Roots are forming. Life is intelligently organizing itself. The universe is rearranging circumstances, inspiring thoughts in other people, and aligning events in a symphony of causation that you cannot possibly comprehend with your logical mind. Your only job during this sacred period of germination is to trust the process, trust the unseen. It is vital to understand the profound energetic difference between surrender and giving up. They may look similar on the surface, both involve a cessation of frantic effort, but they are polar opposites in frequency. Giving up comes from a place of hopelessness, doubt, and defeat. It is born of a low vibration. Its underlying belief is, this isn't working. I'm not powerful enough. It's impossible for this to happen. This belief system aborts the creative process. It is like pouring poison on the seed you just planted. It leads to cynicism, passivity, and a return to the very state of lack you were trying to escape. Giving up is an act of fear. Surrender, however, comes from a place of supreme confidence, unwavering faith, and deep trust. It is born of a high vibration. Its underlying belief is, I have done my part perfectly. The seed is planted in the universal mind, which knows only how to grow. Now, a power infinitely wiser than my own ego is handling all the details. I trust the outcome, and I trust the timing completely. This belief system empowers the creative process. It is like providing the perfect blend of sunlight and water for the seed. Surrender leads to a state of peaceful expectation. You go about your life with a calm inner knowing, detached from the outcome because you already feel the reality of it within you. Surrender is an act of power. The great mystic Neville Goddard referred to this state as living in the Sabbath. It is a state of psychological rest. After you have successfully performed the creative act of assuming your wishes fulfilled, you feel a sense of relief. You feel no compulsion to do anything further towards your goal because you know it is already done. The feeling is not one of anxious pining, but of peaceful satisfaction. You have arrived at your destination in consciousness first, so you can rest, knowing that the physical world has no choice but to catch up. So how do we practice this art of surrender in our daily lives, especially when the ego's doubts inevitably arise? First, you do not fight the doubt. When the thought, this isn't working, appears in your mind, do not wrestle with it. This only gives it more energy. Simply notice it with detached awareness, just as we practiced with the clouds in the sky. Say to yourself, there is the ego needing control again. That is not the truth. Then, gently and lovingly, return your focus to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Remember the scene you created. Feel the ring on your finger. Smell the air in your new home. Feel the peace of the Sabbath. Second, create a simple mantra of trust that you can repeat whenever you feel yourself beginning to worry. Something as simple as, I have planted the seed and I trust the harvest, or the how, and the when are not my concern. It is already done. This helps to realign your mind with the frequency of faith. Third, distract the ego with joy. The ego cannot maintain its grip of worry when you are genuinely immersed in a state of happiness. Go for a walk in nature. Listen to uplifting music that makes your heart sing. Play with a child or a pet. Lose yourself in a creative hobby. By deliberately choosing activities that keep you in a high vibration, you starve the doubts and fears of the attention they need to survive. As you live in this state of surrendered trust, your job is simply to remain aware. Be on the lookout for the bridge of incidents that the universe will begin to construct for you. These are the synchronicities, the intuitive nudges, the unexpected opportunities, the chance encounters that will appear in your life. They will feel natural, even ordinary, but they are the planks of the bridge that is leading you from your current reality to the one you have claimed in your imagination. Your job is not to build the bridge yourself. Your job is to simply have the faith to walk across the planks as they appear before you. Surrender is the ultimate expression of your faith in the unseen. It is the peaceful, powerful, and unwavering trust that what is yours is already on its way to you, by pathways you may never understand. It is the final and most graceful step in the dance of creation. But as you wait in this state of faithful surrender, the universe will sometimes present you with challenges. These are not signs that the process has failed. On the contrary, they are often tests of your faith and messengers in disguise. To navigate this sacred period of waiting, you must learn to understand the purpose and the wisdom of your own shadow. As you rest in the sacred space of surrender, living with the quiet, faithful expectation of your desire's arrival, you will find that life does not always proceed in a straight, untroubled line. In this period of waiting and trusting, you will almost certainly encounter unexpected visitors from the deep. Out of the calm, a sudden wave of a familiar, old fear may rise. A surge of inexplicable anger, a profound and heavy sadness, or the cold, sharp voice of your deepest insecurity may make its presence known. The conditioned mind, the ego, will immediately interpret this as a catastrophic failure. Its panicked voice will scream, "See, it is not working. I am still broken. I am still unworthy. All this spiritual work is for nothing. I will never be healed, and I will never receive what I desire." This moment right here is one of an adept's most crucial tests of faith. It is a pivotal choice point between falling back into the old story of victimhood or rising to a new level of spiritual mastery. I invite you to consider a radical, new perspective. What if the emergence of this darkness is not an obstacle on your path? What if it is not a sign of failure, but rather a definitive sign that the process is working perfectly? Imagine that your intention for a more beautiful life has sent a call down into the deepest parts of your being. This call is a call for wholeness. It is a call for everything within you that is not in alignment with that beautiful vision to come forward and be healed. What if this shadow has risen to the surface not to sabotage you, but to be loved by you? What if this darkness is not an enemy, but a holy messenger, finally delivered to your door? To understand this, we must first understand what the shadow is. Coined by the great psychologist Carl Jung, the shadow is the collection of all the parts of ourselves that we have disowned, repressed, and rejected. It is the repository for every aspect of our humanity that we, at some point in our lives, deemed unacceptable. As children, we are brilliant social sensors. We quickly learn from our parents, teachers, and society that certain emotions and behaviors are good and will be rewarded with love and acceptance, while others are bad and will be met with punishment, shame, or withdrawal of love. Perhaps you were taught that anger is unacceptable, that good girls don't get angry. So, you pushed your anger down into the basement of your psyche. Perhaps you were taught that big boys don't cry, so you disowned your vulnerability and sadness. Perhaps your natural, wild creativity was seen as disruptive, your sensitivity as weakness, your confidence as arrogance. In a desperate bid for love and survival, we take these vital parts of our authentic self and we lock them away in the dark. But they do not disappear. They live on in the unconscious, forming a kind of parallel identity, a shadow self. This shadow self is not evil. It is not a monster. It is simply a collection of our wounded, neglected, and exiled parts. And like any exiled child, it is desperate for our attention, for our acceptance, for a chance to finally come home. Because it lives in the dark, it doesn't know how to ask for attention in a polite way. So, it acts out. It creates sabotaging behaviors. It projects itself onto our reality. It triggers us in moments of stress, trying to get us to finally look at the pain it carries. One of the primary ways the shadow makes itself known is through the mechanism of projection. The aspects of yourself that you have disowned and cannot see in yourself, you will inevitably see and be triggered by in other people. The universe will graciously send you mirrors. That person whose arrogance infuriates you, they may be mirroring back to you the healthy confidence you were forced to disown as a child. That person whose laziness drives you crazy, they may be a messenger, reflecting your own disowned need for rest and self-care in a life of frantic overachievement. The needy, vulnerable person who makes your skin crawl, they are likely a reflection of your own deep, unmet needs for connection that you have deemed a weakness. The things in others that we judge most harshly are often a map to our own hidden treasure, a guide to the parts of ourselves that are begging to be integrated. Let us now turn to the central metaphor for this work. Your consciousness, your loving awareness, is light. The shadow is not a substance. It is not a thing in itself. It is simply an area within your psyche where the light of your awareness has not yet been allowed to shine. You cannot fight darkness. You cannot punch it or attack it. You cannot scoop the darkness out of a room. The very act of fighting the darkness is a futile, exhausting battle that only creates more tension and gives the shadow more power. The only remedy for darkness is light. The work, then, is not shadow battling, it is illumination. The practice of shadow work is the courageous and compassionate act of taking the lamp of your gentle, non-judgmental awareness and being willing to walk down into the basement of your own being, not to exorcise the ghosts, but to listen to their stories and lead them upstairs into the light of your heart. This practice requires immense gentleness and a feeling of safety. This is not a confrontation, it is a homecoming. So, I invite you now to enter into a sacred practice of integration. Find your quiet space. Close your eyes and journey back to that inner sanctuary we have created before your safe and holy place. Take a moment to feel its peace, its security. You are the master of this domain. Everything that enters here does so by your loving invitation. Now, from this place of safety, think of a recurring, challenging pattern in your life. It could be a persistent anxiety, a specific trigger that always brings up anger, or a deep-seated feeling of unworthiness. Choose one, and then set the intention to meet the energy behind this pattern. Ask it to come forward, not as a monster, but as a messenger. Ask it to take a form you can interact with. Perhaps it will appear as a younger, wounded version of yourself. Perhaps it will take the form of an animal, a symbolic figure, or simply a shape of colored energy. Trust whatever appears. As this messenger stands before you in your sanctuary, your first task is simply to look at it without trying to fix it, change it, or make it go away. Let go of all judgment. Simply acknowledge its presence. Breathe, and silently or aloud, say, "I see you. I acknowledge that you are a part of me. I will not push you away this time. You are welcome here." Feel the profound shift that happens with this simple act of validation. For perhaps the first time, this energy is being seen with acceptance rather than with fear or rejection. Now, from your compassionate heart, you are going to ask this messenger 4 questions and listen for the answer. The answers may come as words, feelings, images, or a simple knowing. Trust what you receive. The first question is, what do you want me to know? Listen. It may show you a memory of the original event that created this wounded part of you. It may simply want you to know how much pain it has been carrying. Just listen. Receive its message. The second question is, what have you been trying to protect me from? This is a crucial question. Every shadow aspect, no matter how destructive its behavior may seem, believes it has a positive intention. It believes it is protecting you from something. The anger may be trying to protect you from being taken advantage of again. The fear may be trying to protect you from the pain of failure. The feeling of unworthiness may be trying to protect you from the risk of rejection by keeping you small. Listen for its protective strategy. The third question is, what do you truly need from me? Listen deeply. Very rarely will this part ask for something external. Almost always, its needs are simple and profound. It needs to be seen. It needs to be heard. It needs to be accepted. It needs to be loved by you. It needs to know that it is a welcome part of your being. The fourth and final question is, if you were integrated back into my heart, what gift would you bring me? Every shadow aspect, once healed and brought into the light, bestows a powerful gift. It is a superpower that has been locked away. Your disowned anger, when integrated, becomes the gift of healthy boundaries, passion, and the energy to create change in the world. Your fear, when integrated, becomes the gift of prudence, intuition, and the wisdom to sense danger. Your sadness, when integrated, becomes the gift of profound empathy, compassion, and a deeper connection to all of life. Your vulnerability, when integrated, becomes the gift of true intimacy, authenticity, and courage. Listen for the gift this messenger is bringing you. Now, having heard its story, its need, and its gift, I invite you to perform the sacred act of integration. See yourself opening your arms wide. See yourself moving toward this messenger of your shadow with love and complete acceptance. Embrace this part of you. As you do, visualize it dissolving into pure golden light and merging into your heart center. This is not an absorption of something foreign. This is a homecoming. It is a lost piece of your own soul finally returning to its rightful place. Feel the wholeness, the completeness, as this energy integrates. Feel yourself receiving the gift it brought you. Feel your own energy field expanding, becoming more powerful, more vibrant, more complete. Rest in this feeling of wholeness. You are more you than you were a moment ago. This is the true work of creating the life you desire. Every time you bravely meet and integrate a piece of your shadow, you heal at a fundamental level. Your vibrational frequency naturally and effortlessly rises. You become more whole, and it is from this place of wholeness that you can attract a whole and complete reality. Often, the very desire you hold is being blocked by a corresponding shadow aspect. You cannot attract a truly loving and intimate partner if you are still exiling the part of you that feels vulnerable and unworthy of love. You cannot attract sustained financial abundance if you are still holding onto a shadow belief that you are worthless or that money is corrupt. By healing the inner world, you remove the very obstacles that have been preventing the manifestation of your intentions in the outer world. The shadow, then, is not your curse. It is the map that leads you to the buried treasure of your own divinity. Each time you follow it into the dark with the lamp of your love, you return with more gold, more light, and more power than you ever knew you possessed. And as you continue this journey of becoming whole, you begin to sense a truth that extends even beyond your own personal healing. You start to feel the intricate, invisible web that connects your journey to the journey of every other being. You begin to understand that you are not an isolated island, but an integral and inseparable part of a vast, interconnected, universal field. As you gather the exiled parts of yourself, bringing them home to the light of your heart, a profound sense of inner unity begins to dawn. The civil war within you subsides into a quiet, integrated peace. This inner wholeness is the essential prerequisite for perceiving a much grander, more breathtaking truth, the unity of all life. It is now time to take the next great leap in consciousness, to move beyond the healing of the personal self and into the realization of the universal self. The greatest and most persistent illusion perpetuated by the ego is the illusion of separation. From the moment we are born, we are taught to identify with a separate self, a separate name, a separate body, a separate mind. We learn to see the world in terms of me versus you, us versus them. We see ourselves as isolated islands of consciousness, each pursuing our own separate interests, each living out our own separate story. This perception of separation is the root of all fear, conflict, judgment, and loneliness. The spiritual journey, at its heart, is the progressive dissolving of this illusion, the joyful and sometimes startling realization that you are not an island at all. You are, and always have been, an inseparable part of the single, unified continent of existence. To grasp this truth, let us imagine all of life, all of consciousness, as a single, infinite ocean. This ocean is the fundamental reality, the unmanifest potential, the source of all that is, was, or ever will be. Now, imagine yourself, your individual life, as a single wave rising from this ocean. Look around you. You see countless other waves. There are big waves and small waves, gentle waves and crashing, powerful waves. Each wave has a unique form, a unique character, and a unique duration. From the perspective of the wave, it seems utterly separate from all the others. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It experiences its own journey across the surface of the water. This is our human life, as perceived by the ego. The ego is the part of our consciousness that identifies exclusively with the temporary form of the wave. It fears its own end, the inevitable crash upon the shore. It compares its size and strength to other waves, leading to feelings of pride or inferiority. It feels fundamentally alone in the vastness of the sea. But let us ask a deeper question. What is a wave? Is it truly a separate entity, or is it simply the ocean expressing itself in a temporary, localized form? Can you find a single drop of water in the wave that is not the ocean? Number. The wave is made of ocean. The wave is the ocean, manifesting as wave. Its separateness is an illusion of form. Its true nature, its substance, is the eternal, boundless water. When you realize this, everything changes. When you shift your identity from the temporary wave to the eternal ocean, the fear of death dissolves, for you know that while your form may change, your essence is indestructible. The need for comparison dissolves, for how can one part of the ocean be better than another? The feeling of loneliness vanishes, replaced by a profound sense of connection with every other wave, for you see them all as expressions of your own self. This realization that you are not the wave, but the entire ocean in a single, beautiful expression is the essence of enlightenment. This is not merely a poetic idea or a spiritual philosophy. It is a truth that has been echoed by mystics throughout the ages and is now being pointed to by our own modern science. The sages of the East spoke of Indra's net, a cosmic net where at every intersection of threads, a single jewel is hung. If you look closely at any one jewel, you will see in its polished surface the reflection of every other jewel in the entire net. Each part contains the whole. The Christian mystics spoke of us all being members of the one body of Christ, individual cells that make up a single living organism. The Transcendentalists spoke of the over-soul, a universal mind in which every individual soul participates. Now, Physicists at the cutting edge of quantum mechanics speak of a universe that is non-local and fundamentally interconnected. They speak of quantum entanglement, a phenomenon Einstein called spooky action at a distance, where two particles that were once connected remain instantaneously linked, mirroring each other's state, no matter how vast the distance separating them. This points to a foundational reality where space and separation are not as absolute as they seem. It suggests that at the deepest level, the universe is not a collection of separate, billiard ball-like objects, but a single, indivisible, energetic whole. You are entangled with everyone and everything. When you truly begin to feel this interconnectedness in your heart, your understanding of concepts like karma undergoes a radical transformation. Karma is often misunderstood in the West as a cosmic system of reward and punishment, a kind of moral bookkeeping, but its true meaning is far more profound and impersonal. It is simply the universe's law of cause and effect, operating within a unified system. If we are all cells in one body, what happens when one cell decides to harm another? The pain is not isolated to the cell that was harmed. A signal of stress, of trauma, of imbalance is sent throughout the entire organism. The pain you inflict upon another, you are, on a deeper, inescapable level, inflicting upon yourself, because the other is not truly other. They are another aspect of the same consciousness that you are. When you send out a thought of judgment or hatred towards someone, you are introducing a toxic, low-frequency vibration not just into their field, but into the single, shared field of consciousness that you both inhabit. You are polluting your own environment. Conversely, when you send out a thought of love, a prayer of healing, or perform an act of selfless compassion, you are raising the vibration of the entire field. You are contributing to the health of the whole body, and therefore to your own health. The ripples you send out into the pond of life will eventually find their way back to your own shore. This is not a reward or a punishment from an external judge. It is the natural, impersonal, and perfect balancing of a unified energetic system. Living from this realization changes everything. Your interactions with the world become infused with a new grace and reverence. Compassion arises naturally, not as a moral duty, but as a spontaneous recognition of yourself in another. How can you knowingly harm another when you feel in your bones that they are a part of you? Judgment begins to dissolve. How can one wave judge another for being too big or too small, knowing they are both expressions of the same ocean? The feeling of competition gives way to a spirit of collaboration. The success of another wave does not diminish your own. It adds to the magnificent beauty of the one ocean we all share. Service becomes not a chore, but a joy. For in helping another cell to heal, you are healing the entire body of which you are a part. You are not a lonely wave, struggling against the tide. You are the entire, magnificent ocean, temporarily experiencing itself as a wave. This realization does not erase your unique personality or your individual journey. The wave still gets to be a wave, with its own unique beauty and experience. But you now know the truth of your boundless, eternal nature. This knowing is the foundation of true spiritual maturity, of unshakable peace, and of a deep, unconditional love for all of life. With this profound understanding of your interconnectedness with the whole, you are now equipped to look at the most intimate and often most challenging arenas where this universal field plays out, your personal relationships. You are now ready to see them not as random, accidental encounters, but as sacred mirrors, divinely orchestrated to reflect your own inner world back to you for the purpose of your ultimate liberation. We have awakened to the profound truth that we are not separate islands, but interconnected waves in a single, unified ocean of consciousness. With this sacred understanding firmly in our hearts, we can no longer view our encounters with other beings as random, accidental, or meaningless. Every meeting is an appointment. Every interaction holds a purpose. Every person who crosses your path, from the most intimate, lifelong partner to the briefest acquaintance who serves you coffee, is a sacred messenger. They are a living, breathing mirror, arranged by a wise and loving universe to show you something about yourself that you could not see on your own. This perspective is the ultimate shift from a consciousness of victimhood to a consciousness of creation. The ego, identified with the separate self, constantly asks, "Why is this person doing this to me? Why are they treating me this way?" This line of questioning leads only to blame, resentment, and a feeling of powerlessness. The awakened soul learns to ask a far more powerful and insightful question: what is this person's behavior showing me about me? What aspect of my own inner world is this relationship reflecting back to me? When you begin to ask this question, your relationships transform from arenas of conflict and disappointment into potent classrooms for your own spiritual evolution. The mechanics of this cosmic mirror are based on the law of energetic resonance and projection. Your inner world, your beliefs, your wounds, your fears, and your light is constantly being projected outward onto the screen of your reality. The people in your life, especially those with whom you have a strong emotional connection, are the most powerful and high-definition parts of this screen. They are compelled, by energetic law, to play the roles that correspond to the script you are unconsciously writing inside yourself. This mirroring works in both positive and negative ways. Let us first consider the positive mirrors. Think of a person you deeply admire, someone whose courage, creativity, wisdom, or kindness inspires you. When you feel this powerful sense of admiration, you are not merely observing qualities external to you. You are recognizing a dormant potential within your own soul. The universe has placed this person in your life as a mirror to say, "See this magnificence you admire in them? This also exists within you. It is time to awaken it." You would not be able to recognize that specific quality so profoundly in another if the seed of it did not already exist within your own being. Their presence is an invitation and a permission slip to embody your own greatness. More challenging, and therefore more potent for our growth, are the negative mirrors. The people who trigger you, who irritate you, who anger you, who frustrate you the most, these are not your enemies. They are your greatest teachers. They are holy messengers in disguise, sent to shine a spotlight on the unhealed, disowned parts of your own shadow. The very quality that infuriates you in them is almost always a reflection of a part of yourself that you have repressed, or it is poking at a deep, unhealed wound within you. This is a difficult truth for the ego to accept, but embracing it is a shortcut to profound liberation. Let us make this practical by exploring some common reflections. If you find yourself repeatedly attracting controlling partners, friends, or bosses, the mirror is likely asking you a question. Instead of focusing on their need for control, the universe is inviting you to ask, "Where am I refusing to take sovereign control of my own life? Where have I given my power away and am now waiting for someone else to direct me? Where am I secretly afraid of my own freedom and responsibility?" It could also be that you have disowned your own capacity for leadership and clear direction, judging it as bossy or unspiritual. So the universe sends you exaggerated versions of this energy until you are willing to reclaim a healthy measure of it for yourself. If you are consistently drawn to people who are emotionally unavailable, who keep you at a distance or who cannot meet your needs for intimacy, the mirror is almost certainly reflecting your own emotional unavailability to yourself. The universe is asking, how present are you with your own feelings? Do you abandon yourself in moments of sadness or fear? Do you truly open your own heart to your own experience? When you learn to stay with yourself, to meet your own needs for emotional presence and validation, you cease to be a vibrational match for those who would abandon you. Perhaps you find yourself in relationships where you feel consistently disrespected or undervalued. This is a powerful and painful mirror. Before blaming the other person, the universe invites you to look within and ask, where am I disrespecting myself? Where are my own boundaries weak or non-existent? Where do I fail to value my own time, my own energy, my own needs, my own truth? The outer world can only reflect the level of respect that you hold as your baseline for yourself. When you begin to treat yourself as sacred, to enforce healthy boundaries with love, and to walk away from situations that do not honor you, the mirror must change. The universe will cease to send you messengers of disrespect because you are no longer broadcasting the frequency that calls them in. If you are a rescuer, constantly attracting needy people or projects into your life, the mirror may be reflecting a savior complex within your own ego. It may be showing you a part of yourself that needs to feel important and validated by fixing others. It could also be reflecting a deep, disowned part of your own self that is crying out for help, a vulnerability that you refuse to acknowledge, so you project it outward and attempt to heal it in another person instead of within yourself. The shift, every single time, is from outward blame to inward compassionate inquiry. This is not about blaming yourself. It is about taking radical responsibility for your own energetic and emotional state. This is the definition of true empowerment. This path of seeing relationships as mirrors ultimately leads to one of the most liberating realizations possible. Every relationship you have with another person is a direct reflection of the relationship you have with yourself. The dynamic you have with your own inner masculine and feminine energies, your own inner critic and inner child, your own light and shadow, will be played out with stunning accuracy in the theater of your outer relationships. You cannot find a love outside of you that you do not first cultivate within you. You cannot receive a respect from others that you do not first hold for yourself. You cannot find a partner who will make you feel whole, because wholeness is an inside job. This realization ends the desperate, exhausting external search for the right person to come and save you or complete you. It calls you home. It reveals that the most important work you will ever do is to heal the relationship you have with yourself. As you do this inner work, as you learn to love and integrate your shadow, as you honor the wisdom of your intuition, as you forgive your past and take responsibility for your own frequency, a miracle happens. The mirrors in your outer world must, by law, change to reflect your new inner reality. The people in your life will either have to shift their dynamic with you to match your new state of being, or they will gently and often peacefully fall away, their assignment as your mirror now complete. And in their place, the universe will send new relationships, new mirrors that reflect the wholeness, the love, and the respect you have finally cultivated within yourself. Every person is a gift. Every relationship is a lesson. Use these sacred mirrors with gratitude and courage to accelerate your own awakening and see the entire world transform before your very eyes. As you master the art of seeing your own reflection in the mirrors of your relationships, your awareness naturally begins to turn toward the primary vehicle through which you experience this entire reality. You turn your attention to the most intimate and often most neglected mirror of all, the sacred instrument that houses your spirit on this earthly plane, your physical body. Having learned to see our own reflection in the sacred mirrors of our relationships, we now turn our gaze inward to the most immediate, tangible, and intimate mirror we will ever possess. We turn our attention to the very vehicle of our incarnation, the masterpiece of biological engineering that houses our spirit on this earthly plane, our physical body. In our modern world, we have been conditioned to see the body as a machine that is prone to breaking down, that needs to be fixed, disciplined, and forced into submission. We treat it like a project to be perfected through grueling exercise, a battle to be won through restrictive diets, or an enemy to be silenced when it signals its pain. We have become profoundly disconnected from the innate wisdom and sacredness of our physical form. The journey of awakening invites us to adopt a revolutionary new perspective. Your body is not a machine. It is a living, breathing temple. It is a holy instrument of exquisite sensitivity, designed not just for movement and survival, but to be a sophisticated sensor of energy, a wise counselor, and a loyal partner in your spiritual evolution. It is the anchor that grounds your soul to the earth, and the antenna that connects you to the heavens. To ignore its wisdom is to navigate the world with your most vital guidance system turned off. Let us explore this through a new metaphor. Imagine that your body is a finely crafted musical instrument, a resonant cello, a delicate harp, or a vibrant guitar. Your soul, your true self, is the musician, and the music your soul wishes to play is the unique, beautiful, and powerful expression of your life's purpose. When this sacred instrument is well cared for, when it is nourished, rested, and treated with love, its strings are in perfect tension, its wood is vibrant and resonant, it is perfectly in tune. In this state, the musician can effortlessly play the most beautiful music. This is the experience of vibrant health, of boundless energy, of physical ease and grace. The body becomes a clear and open channel for the soul's expression. But what happens when the instrument is neglected or abused? The constant stress we put ourselves under, the unhealed emotions we store within its tissues, the poor nutrition we feed it, the lack of deep rest, these things are like leaving a priceless cello out in the rain. The wood warps, the strings rust and lose their tension, the delicate balance is lost. The instrument falls out of tune. Now, when the musician tries to play, the sound produced is dissonant, jarring, and unpleasant. This is the experience of dis-ease. It is fatigue, chronic pain, illness. From this perspective, a symptom, whether it is a headache, a digestive issue, or a more serious illness, is not a punishment. It is not a sign that the body has failed you. It is simply the instrument's way of communicating that it is out of tune. The dissonance is a loving feedback mechanism. It is a message from the body to the musician saying, "Attention, please. Something is out of harmony." The way we are living is creating dissonance. We need to pause and retune. Pain and illness, seen in this light, become not curses, but compassionate calls to awareness. Your body is speaking to you in every moment. It speaks a language far older and more truthful than words. It speaks in the language of sensation, feeling, and intuition. Your task is to learn to listen. Consider the common phrase, a gut feeling. This is not a mere figure of speech. Your enteric nervous system, located in your gut, is so complex and intelligent that scientists often refer to it as the second brain. It is a powerful center of intuitive perception. When you are considering a decision and you feel a sense of expansive lightness in your solar plexus, that is your body's clear and resounding yes. When you feel a tight knot, a sense of dread, or a nauseous feeling in your stomach, that is your body's unequivocal no. We have been taught to override this primal wisdom with logical pros and cons, but more often than not, the body knows the truth long before the mind does. Our bodies are also the physical libraries where we store our emotional history. Emotions that are not fully felt, processed, and released become trapped in the body as dense, stagnant energy. Unexpressed grief can manifest as a persistent heaviness or constriction in the chest and lungs. Chronic anger and frustration can accumulate in the liver. Deep-seated fears can lodge themselves in the kidneys or create chronic tension in the stomach and digestive tract. Have you ever felt a lump in your throat when you were unable to speak your truth, or a pain in the neck when dealing with an irritating person? These are not just metaphors. They are literal descriptions of how emotional energy translates into physical sensation. When you experience chronic pain or tension in a particular area of your body, you can gently ask it, what story are you holding? What emotion are you asking me to feel and release? Learning to listen begins with the simple practice of presence. I invite you to try this now. Close your eyes and bring your awareness inward. Take a gentle breath and guide your attention to the soles of your feet. Simply notice, without judgment, what sensations are there. Is there warmth, coolness, tingling, pressure? Slowly, guide your awareness up through your legs, your hips, your abdomen, your chest, your arms, your neck, your head. You are not trying to fix anything. You are simply listening. You are paying attention. You are bringing the light of your awareness to the temple. Where do you feel tension? Where do you feel ease? Where is there numbness? Just notice. This simple act of inner listening is a profound act of love. You are telling your body, I am here with you. I am listening. Once we learn to listen, we can begin the sacred work of tuning our instrument. This is not about punishment or discipline, but about reverence and nourishment. The primary tuning forks are breath, nutrition, movement, and rest. Your breath is the most powerful and immediate tool you have for shifting your physical and emotional state. Most of the time, our breathing is shallow and unconscious. By simply taking a few deep, conscious, diaphragmatic breaths, you send a powerful signal to your nervous system that you are safe. This instantly releases tension, calms the mind, and brings your entire being into a state of greater harmony. Nourishment becomes a sacred act when you shift the question from what should I or shouldn't I eat to what would truly nourish and honor this sacred body right now. Your body has an innate intelligence. If you listen closely, it will tell you what it needs. More water, more greens, more protein. Eating becomes an act of communion, of lovingly providing your temple with the highest quality materials for its upkeep. Movement transforms from a chore into a celebration. Instead of punishing your body on a treadmill, what if you moved with joy? Put on music and dance in your living room. Walk in nature and feel the life force of the earth. Stretch your body with the loving intention of releasing stored tension and creating more space for energy to flow. Find a form of movement that feels like a gift to your body, not a punishment. And finally, embrace rest as a sacred and non-negotiable part of your practice. It is during sleep and deep rest that the body does its most profound healing and recalibration. Rest is not laziness. It is essential maintenance for your sacred instrument. Your body is your wisest counselor, your most loyal friend, and your holy companion on this human journey. It has been with you every moment of your life, doing its absolute best to support you, even when you have ignored, judged, or harmed it. Today, begin a new relationship with it. Place your hand on your heart and thank it. Thank it for its resilience, its intelligence, its unwavering service. Promise to listen to it, to honor its messages, and to treat it not as a machine, but as the living temple of your divine spirit. When you cultivate this loving partnership, your body will become your most trusted guide, leading you with unfailing wisdom back to a state of wholeness, vitality, and peace. As you learn to tune and honor this sacred instrument, you will find it begins to crave a connection to a source of energy even greater than food and water. You will feel an instinctual pull to connect your own energy field with the vast, healing, and stabilizing energy field of the planet itself. You are now ready to learn how to draw life force directly from nature's wellspring. Having awakened to the truth of your body as a sacred living temple, we now acknowledge its deepest craving. Beyond the need for food, water, and air, the body has a fundamental need for energetic nourishment. We live in a world that has largely forgotten the most powerful and readily available source of this nourishment. We exist in insulated boxes we call homes, travel in insulated metal boxes we call cars, and walk upon insulated surfaces of pavement and synthetic flooring. We wear shoes with rubber soles, which effectively sever our electrical connection to the planet. We have, as a species, become profoundly and chronically disconnected from the Earth. This disconnection is not without consequence. It creates a kind of static charge in our energy field. It is the source of that persistent, low-grade anxiety, that feeling of being unmoored, scattered, and overwhelmed that is so rampant in modern society. We are like complex electrical appliances that have been unplugged from their grounding wire, allowing a chaotic and unhealthy electrical charge to build up within our circuits. This section is a simple yet profound invitation to come home. It is a remembrance that you are not separate from nature. You are a living, breathing expression of nature. It is an invitation to consciously plug your own energy field back into the infinite, healing, and stabilizing energy of the Earth. To understand this connection, consider the deep and silent wisdom of a tree. A tree never suffers from anxiety about the future. It never rushes or worries. Its immense power and stability come from its profound connection to two great forces, the earth below and the sky above. First, consider its roots. They spread deep and wide into the soil, anchoring the tree, holding it firm against the strongest winds. These roots draw up water and physical nutrients, but they are also conducting a constant, subtle, energetic exchange with the planet. They are plugged into the vast, calm, steady, and powerful energy field of the Earth itself. This is the source of the tree's grounding, its unshakable presence. Then, consider its branches and leaves. They reach upward, spreading out to the sun, drinking in the light and cosmic energy of the heavens through the miracle of photosynthesis. This represents our connection to spirit, to infinite intelligence, to the unlimited potential of the universe. You too are a tree of life. Your feet and your energetic connection to the ground are your roots. Your consciousness, your open heart, your higher mind are your branches. To be a healthy, balanced, and powerful human being, you must honor both connections equally. You must be as willing to sink your roots deep into the earth as you are to reach your branches toward the sky. Modern life, with its focus on intellectual achievement and abstract goals, has taught us to live almost exclusively in our upper branches, in our heads. We have forgotten the vital, life-giving importance of being deeply and consciously rooted. This practice of reconnecting with the Earth's energy is often called grounding or earthing, and it is backed by both ancient spiritual wisdom and emerging modern science. From a scientific perspective, the surface of the planet Earth holds a natural, subtle, negative electrical charge. It is constantly being replenished by solar radiation, lightning strikes, and the planet's own molten core. Our human bodies, through the metabolic processes of life and, more significantly, through exposure to the sea of artificial electromagnetic fields, EMFs, from our phones, computers, and Wi-Fi networks, build up an excess of positive charge. In the body, this positive charge takes the form of free radicals, which are a primary cause of inflammation, cellular damage, and chronic disease. When you bring your physical body into direct contact with the surface of the earth, be standing barefoot on grass, for example, an immediate and measurable energetic exchange occurs. Your body's electrical potential equalizes with the Earth's. The Earth's surface is a vast reservoir of free electrons, which are the most potent antioxidants known. These electrons flow from the Earth into your body, neutralizing the positively charged free radicals and dramatically reducing inflammation. At the same time, the excess chaotic energy, the static you have accumulated, is discharged from your body into the Earth, which absorbs and composts it effortlessly. You are literally grounding your own biological circuitry, just as an electrician grounds an appliance to prevent static buildup and ensure proper function. From a spiritual perspective, this act is one of profound communion. It is a remembrance that the earth is not inert dirt or a mere resource. It is a living, breathing, conscious being, Mother, Gaia. When you place your bare feet upon her skin, you are consciously plugging into her immense, stable, and unconditionally loving energy field. You are allowing her to absorb your energetic and emotional toxins, your worries, your fears, your anxieties, and transform them, just as the soil composts decaying matter into rich, fertile ground. You are drawing up her calm, ancient, and nurturing life force into your own being. The beautiful thing about this practice is its utter simplicity. It is available to almost everyone at any time, and it is free. I invite you now to engage in a practice of this connection, either in your imagination or, if possible, in the physical world. The most powerful method is to simply take off your shoes and socks and stand barefoot upon a natural surface. Find a patch of grass in a park, some sand at a beach, or even just a small patch of soil in your garden. As your feet make contact with the earth, close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Bring your awareness to the soles of your feet. Feel the texture of the ground beneath you. Is it cool? Is it warm? Is it soft? Is it damp? Just feel. Now, imagine that roots are beginning to grow from the soles of your feet, just like the tree, extending deep down into the rich, dark earth. With every exhale, imagine you are sending all of your stress, your anxiety, your pain, your mental chatter down through these roots into the earth. Give it all to her. She can handle it. She knows how to transform it. With every inhale, imagine you are drawing up the earth's calm, strong, stable, healing energy. Feel it rising through your feet, up into your legs, filling your entire body with a sense of peace and profound stability. Stay here for as long as you like. Another powerful practice is to connect with the trees themselves. Find a tree that calls to you. Approach it with respect. Place your hands on its trunk. Close your eyes and feel its energy. Feel its solidness, its ancient, patient wisdom. You can even lean your back against the trunk, allowing your spine to align with its powerful vertical axis. Trees are master grounders, and they will gladly share their stable energy with you. Remember to thank the tree for its gift. Natural water is also a powerful energetic cleanser. Swimming in an ocean, a lake, or a river immerses your entire body in the Earth's energy field and washes your aura clean. Even just standing by a flowing river or listening to the sound of rainfall can have a profound calming and cleansing effect on your being. And do not forget the sun. The sun is the ultimate source of life energy for our planet. The simple act of turning your face to the sun, especially during the gentle light of morning or late afternoon, and consciously absorbing its warmth and light, can be a powerful way to charge your energetic batteries and uplift your spirit. Even if you live in a dense urban environment, you can still practice this connection. Bring nature indoors. Fill your home with living plants. Have natural materials like wood, stone, or crystals around you. Open your windows to allow fresh air and sunlight in. You can even listen to high-quality recordings of nature, sounds, birds, rivers, rain too. Bring that calming frequency into your space. Nature is not something you go to visit on vacation. It is your home. It is the source of your physical body and the source of your energetic sustenance. Reconnecting with it on a daily basis is not a luxury. It is a fundamental necessity for a healthy, balanced, and spiritually aware life. It is the ultimate source for grounding your energy, cleansing your field, and recharging your spirit. Now that you have learned to ground your energy in the earth and tune your physical and emotional instrument, you have become a stable and powerful channel. You have charged your energetic battery. You are no longer just a passive witness or a victim of reality. You are prepared to consciously step into the role you were born to play. You are ready to finally and fully realize that you are the creator of your reality. We have walked a long and sacred road together on this inner journey. We have quieted the relentless noise of the conditioned mind to find the silent space of our true nature. We have faced our shadows with compassion, released the heavy anchor of the past, tuned the sacred instrument of our body, and grounded our energy in the deep, stabilizing power of the earth. Each of these steps was not an end in itself. Each was a vital act of preparation. You were clearing the land, tilling the soil, and gathering your tools, all in service of this single, pivotal, life-altering moment of realization. For most of our lives, we have existed within a deeply ingrained and pervasive paradigm, a story whispered to us from our first breath, the story of victimhood. It is the belief that life happens to us. We see ourselves as small, vulnerable beings, subject to the whims of a random and often hostile world. We blame our unhappiness on our circumstances, our genetics, our upbringing, our government, the economy, or the actions of other people. This story, in a strange way, can feel comforting. It absolves us of responsibility. If the world is the problem, then we have no power, and therefore no burden to change. We can remain in the familiar comfort of complaint and resignation. Today, right now, in this sacred moment of awareness, the time for that story is over. I am here to tell you a deeper and more powerful truth, a truth your soul already knows. It is the fundamental law of your existence. You are not a victim of your reality. You are its sole and sovereign creator. Life does not happen to you. It happens through you. It happens as you, and it happens for you. This is the great turning point. This is the moment you cease to be a pawn in the game and realize you are the player, the rule maker, and the game itself. Imagine that you are a divine artist. Your consciousness is the artist, and the entirety of your life is your canvas. This canvas is not empty. It is a dynamic, living field of infinite potential, the quantum field that underlies all of physical reality. It is pure, neutral energy, waiting for the imprint of a creative intelligence to give it form. You, the artist, have been given a divine set of tools to paint upon this canvas. Your imagination is your studio, the place where you formulate your vision. It is the sacred capacity to see and feel a reality that does not yet exist in the physical realm. Your focused thoughts and your attention are your brush. Wherever you place your attention, you are applying energy to the canvas. Your attention is a current of creative force. What you focus on grows. What you ignore fades. And most importantly, your emotions are your paints. This is the substance, the color, the vibrancy that brings your creation to life. A thought alone is a colorless sketch. It has form, but no power. A thought that has been fully charged with the powerful, vibrant paint of your feeling, be it love, joy, or even fear, becomes a living, breathing reality in the unseen realm, which then must, by law, precipitate onto the canvas of your life. The truth is, you have always been this artist. You have been creating your reality every moment of every day. But for most of your life, you have likely been an unconscious artist. You have been painting with the muddy, chaotic colors of your unhealed wounds, your limiting beliefs, and your conditioned fears. You have been splashing anxiety here, smearing resentment there, and dotting the canvas with the gray tones of unworthiness, all while your back was turned. And then you turn to look at the messy, dissonant creation you have made and cry out, "Who is responsible for this? Who has done this to me?" The Great Awakening is the moment the artist turns, sees the paintbrush in their own hand, and realizes with a jolt of terrifying, exhilarating clarity, "It was me. It was me all along." To understand how this works, we must look at the hierarchy of creation. At the deepest level are your core beliefs. These are the fundamental assumptions you hold about yourself and about reality, often formed in early childhood and residing deep in your subconscious mind. Beliefs like I am worthy or I am not worthy, the world is a safe place, or the world is a dangerous place. These core beliefs are the engines that automatically generate your habitual thoughts. Your thoughts, in turn, generate your emotional state, which becomes your vibrational frequency. And it is this frequency that organizes the infinite potential of the quantum field into the specific, tangible events, people, and circumstances of your physical reality. The chain is unbreakable. Belief generates thought, thought generates feeling, feeling generates reality. Therefore, the outer world is nothing more and nothing less than a perfect, flawless mirror of your inner world, specifically of your deepest beliefs. The universe does not give you what you want. It gives you who you believe you are. It must. It has no other choice. It is a law, as impersonal and as reliable as gravity. If you hold a deep, subconscious belief that you are not worthy of love, the universe, in its infinite love for you, will meticulously arrange circumstances to show you the truth of your own belief. It will send you partners who cannot see your worth, who abandon you, or who betray you, not to punish you, but to lovingly hold up a mirror and say, "Do you see, this is the belief you are holding about yourself. Are you ready to change it?" To discover your own limiting core beliefs, you do not need to spend years in therapy. You need only to look at the recurring, unwanted patterns in your life with fearless honesty. They are not random. They are the physical evidence of an inner belief. If your recurring pattern is a lack of money, look for the underlying beliefs. Money is the root of all evil. I'm not smart enough to be wealthy. You have to work hard and struggle for every penny. If your pattern is one of loneliness, look for the beliefs. I am unlovable, people always leave. To be intimate is to be hurt. Your life, as it is right now, is a perfect printout of your current subconscious programming. The way to change the program is not by fighting the external reality. That is like trying to change your reflection by yelling at the mirror. The way to change it is to rewrite the source code, to change the belief. And the way to change a belief is to courageously and persistently assume the feeling of a new, empowering belief. As we have practiced, you choose the reality you desire. You enter the creative state of imagination, and you feel what it would feel like to be the person who is living that reality. You live from this new assumption, this new state of being, in your imagination until your subconscious mind accepts it as fact. Once a belief is accepted by the subconscious, the outer world has no choice but to reform itself to mirror this new inner truth. This brings us to the great threshold of power, the practice of radical responsibility. To truly claim your power as a creator, you must be willing to take 100% responsibility for every single aspect of your life experience, the good, the bad, the beautiful, and the painful. You must be willing to look at the most difficult circumstances in your life and say, on some level, from a part of my consciousness I may not have been aware of, I created this. I drew this experience to me to teach me something, to show me a belief I was holding. This is, without question, the most difficult pill for the human ego to swallow. The ego thrives on blame. To accept responsibility means to give up the satisfying roles of being the victim, the martyr, or the righteous one. It requires a level of honesty and courage that few are willing to cultivate. But let me be clear, this is not about blaming yourself or feeling guilty for your past unconscious creations. That is just the ego turning on itself. This is about empowerment. For if you are responsible for creating your unwanted circumstances, it means you hold the power to uncreate them and to consciously create something new in their place. If an external force were truly to blame, you would be genuinely and permanently powerless. Your responsibility is not your burden, it is your ultimate freedom. It is your power. So, the invitation of this moment is to rise. Rise out of the ashes of your old story. Let go of every last excuse, every last reason why you cannot be, do, or have the life of your soul's deepest calling. Stop waiting for the world to change. Stop waiting for someone else to give you permission. Stop waiting for a savior to come and rescue you. Pick up the paintbrush of your attention. Choose the vibrant, beautiful colors of love and gratitude from the palette of your heart. Look at the magnificent, empty canvas of this present moment and decide, with the full force of your sovereign will, what masterpiece you will now create. You are not a forgotten child of the universe, hoping for scraps from its table. You are the universe itself, embodied in human form, for the glorious purpose of creation and experience. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a single drop. You are not a character in the play of life. You are its author, its director, and its lead actor. This is your power. This is your birthright. It is time to claim it. Realizing you are the creator is the first great awakening. The second, which is just as important, is realizing that true, masterful creation does not come from struggle, force, or relentless effort. The master artist does not fight with the canvas. They enter a state of grace, a state of flow, where their actions are guided by inspiration, not by desperation. This is the profound difference between the ego's forceful effort and the soul's aligned action. It is the path of least resistance, and it is where we will journey next. We have arrived at the breathtaking and formidable realization that we are, in our very essence, the creators of our reality. Standing at this summit of awareness, holding this immense power, the ego's first and most predictable impulse is to rush out and do. It wants to apply this power through forceful effort, to strive, to hustle, to wrestle reality into submission through sheer force of will. This is the paradigm of creation we have been taught by a world that glorifies struggle. And here, at this crucial juncture, we encounter a divine paradox. The very moment you realize your infinite power is the moment you must learn to wield it with the utmost gentleness. True creation, the effortless manifestation of a master, is not an act of forceful striving. It is an act of graceful alignment. It is learning to move with the powerful, intelligent current of the universe, not against it. It is the profound difference between the path of resistance and the path of least resistance. Imagine your life's journey as a great and majestic river. This river has a source, and it has a destination, the vast, boundless ocean of your completely fulfilled desires. The river's current is the force of the universe itself, the flow of life, which is always, without exception, moving you toward the fulfillment of the intentions you have set. Now, imagine yourself in a small boat on this river. The path of forceful effort, the path of resistance, is the path of the person who decides they know a better or faster way than the river. They turn their boat around and begin to row with all their might upstream against the powerful current. Watch them. Their muscles are straining, sweat is pouring from their brow, their breath is ragged. They are fighting the river every single second. They may, through immense and exhausting effort, make some small, slow progress. But it is an unsustainable, draining and joyless journey, filled with the constant stress of battling an overwhelmingly powerful force. This is the energy of the ego, which believes, I have to do it all myself. If I don't make it happen, it will not happen. This is action born from a deep-seated fear and a belief in lack. Now, imagine another person on the same river. This person understands the nature of the river. They have chosen the path of least resistance. They have turned their boat to face downstream and have put their oars inside. They are relaxed, allowing the river's current to do the primary work of carrying them forward toward their destination. They are not passive, they are intelligently cooperative. They hold a small paddle, not for propulsion, but for steering. They see a rock ahead, and with a gentle dip of the paddle, they steer the boat around it. They see a beautiful fruit-laden shore, and with another gentle touch, they guide the boat toward it to receive its nourishment. Their action is minimal, precise, graceful, and profoundly effective. They arrive at their destination feeling energized and joyful, having enjoyed the journey. This is aligned action. It is action born from a place of deep trust, faith, and the knowing that a power greater than themselves is already carrying them home. Your entire life is a choice between these two ways of being. Are you rowing upstream, or are you flowing with the current? The key to a life of grace and effortless creation is learning to discern the difference between fear-based, forceful action and inspired, aligned action. Let us examine their distinct characteristics so you can become a master at recognizing them in your own life. Fear-based action, or forceful effort, is motivated by a feeling of "I have to" or "I should." It is driven by a vibration of lack, anxiety, or urgency. It's the voice that says, "I have to send these 10 emails right now, or I'll lose the opportunity. I should go to this party even though I'm exhausted, because I might miss out on meeting someone. I have to figure this all out now." The feeling associated with this kind of action is one of heaviness, stress, and a frantic, draining pressure. It feels like pushing a giant boulder up a steep hill. There is a tightness in your body, a knot in your stomach. It is the energy of struggle. This kind of action is also obsessed with and distrustful of timing. It believes everything must be controlled and executed immediately, for it does not trust the divine timing of the universe. The result of this constant upstream effort is often burnout, frustration, and surprisingly mediocre results, because it is working in direct opposition to the greater energetic flow. Inspired or aligned action is entirely different. It is never motivated by should or have to. It is motivated by a feeling of "I get to," or a sudden joyful spark of "aha." It does not come from a logical, linear thought process. It arises spontaneously from a place of stillness. It is a creative urge, an intuitive nudge, a feeling of being pulled rather than pushed. The feeling associated with inspired action is one of lightness, joy, excitement, and a sense of effortless flow. It feels like you are being carried. It is the feeling of being in the zone, where time seems to disappear and the action happens through you, not by you. You feel energized by the action, not drained by it. Inspired action is also completely unconcerned with timing. The impulse arises, and you act on it in that moment, trusting that the impulse has come at the divinely perfect time. The results of these seemingly small, inspired actions are often magical, synchronistic, and far more impactful than months of forceful effort, because your small action is backed by the full, powerful momentum of the universal current. So, how do you cultivate a life of aligned action? How do you learn to listen for these inspired impulses? The first and most important prerequisite is stillness. You cannot hear the gentle whisper of an inspired idea if your mind is filled with the loud, demanding shouts of the ego's to-do list. Your daily practice of meditation, of finding the space between your thoughts, is not a passive act. It is the active creation of the inner silence required to hear your divine guidance. The second step is to follow the process we have already outlined. You set your clear intention from a place of gratitude. You enter the creative state and feel the wish as already fulfilled. And then, and this is the key, you let it go. You surrender the outcome. You do not sit and stare at your intention, obsessing over how it will manifest. You go about your day, trusting the seed has been planted, and you focus on maintaining a state of joy and peace. It is from this state of surrendered trust that the inspired impulse will arise. It will come when you least expect it, while you are on a walk, in the shower, or listening to music. It will be a sudden, clear idea. Call that friend you haven't spoken to in years. Go to that specific bookstore. Start writing down the ideas for that book. It will feel light and good. It will probably not seem logically connected to your ultimate goal. Your job is to suspend your doubt and honor these intuitive nudges immediately, without procrastination or overanalyzing them. These are the planks of the bridge of incidents appearing before you. The more you trust and act on these small, joyful impulses, the more frequently they will come, and the faster the river will carry you to the ocean of your desire. The path of the conscious creator is not one of grim struggle or white-knuckled control. It is a path of intelligent and joyful cooperation with the creative forces of the universe. It is about doing less and achieving more, by taking action only when it feels joyful, inspired, and aligned with the effortless flow of life itself. It is learning to put down the heavy oars of struggle and to pick up the light, graceful paddle of inspired, intuitive guidance. When you learn to live in this state of flow, taking action only when your heart says yes, you cultivate a profound and unshakable sense of trust in the journey. This trust allows you to develop the final key to ultimate freedom and lasting happiness: the ability to fall in love with the process of life itself, and to gracefully release your attachment to any specific outcome. We have learned to move with the great river of life, to take action that is not born of frantic effort, but of joyful, inspired alignment. We have learned to put down the heavy oars of struggle and to use the light paddle of intuition for gentle steering. And yet, even from this beautiful and graceful state of flow, the human ego can create one final, subtle, and powerful trap. This is the trap of attachment to the outcome. It is the belief that our happiness, our peace, our sense of worthiness is conditional upon achieving a specific result. I will be happy when I get the promotion. I will feel peaceful when my partner finally changes. My life will have meaning when I achieve this goal. With these thoughts, we place our state of being in a future that has not yet arrived. We make our inner peace a hostage to outer circumstances. This attachment, this emotional and energetic clinging to a specific result, is the hidden source of all anxiety during the period of manifestation. It is the root of the need to control, to worry, and to doubt. It is the final golden chain that tethers us to the wheel of suffering, and this is the moment we learn to lovingly break it. To understand the freedom that lies beyond this trap, consider the mindset of a true master of a craft, a Zen master of the bow and arrow. A novice archer steps up to the line, and their entire world shrinks to the distant target. Their eyes are fixed on the bullseye. Their mind is a storm of internal chatter. I have to hit it. What if I miss? People are watching. My whole worth is tied to this shot. This obsessive focus on the result creates tension in their body. Their breath becomes shallow, their hand trembles. This inner state of anxiety corrupts the process and, ironically, makes them far more likely to miss the mark. They have sacrificed the joy of the present action for the anxiety of a future outcome. Now, watch the master archer. The master steps up to the same line, with the same bow and the same target. But their inner world is entirely different. Their focus is not on the distant target. Their focus is right here, right now, on the perfection of the process. They feel the solid ground beneath their feet. They feel the smooth wood of the bow in their hand. Their breath is deep, calm, and centered. They become one with the bow. As they draw back the string, they are not thinking of hitting or missing. They are feeling the perfect, exquisite tension in the string and in their own body. Their entire being, all of their awareness, is poured into the sacred, present moment action of drawing, aiming, and releasing. For the master, a perfect, graceful shot is the goal itself. Whether the arrow strikes the center of the target is simply a secondary, natural, and almost incidental consequence of a perfect process. The joy is in the shooting, not in the hitting. The success is in the process, not the prize. This is the consciousness you are invited to cultivate. You must become a master archer of life. You must fall so in love with the process of living of creating, of taking your own inspired actions, that the outcome ceases to be your primary concern. Pour your entire being into the beauty of this present moment and release your anxious, white-knuckled grip on a specific future result. This wisdom is beautifully encapsulated in the ancient Taoist concept of Wu Wei. Wu Wei is often translated as non-action or non-doing, but this can be misleading. It does not mean passivity or laziness. A more accurate translation is effortless action, action without striving, or action that is in harmony with the natural flow of life. It is the art of getting things done by flowing with the current of the universe, rather than struggling against it. The great Taoist sages used the metaphor of water to describe Wu Wei. Water is the softest and most yielding of all things, yet it can overcome the hardest rock. It does not attack the rock head-on. It simply flows around it, gently, persistently, finding the path of least resistance until the rock itself is worn away. To live with non-attachment is to become like water. You set your intention, your destination of the ocean, but you remain fluid and yielding on the journey, allowing the Tao, the universal flow, to guide you around obstacles in its own time and in its own way. To practice Wu Wei is to detach from the fruits of your labor. You perform the action that feels inspired and correct in the moment, and you perform it with your full presence and excellence. But once the action is complete, you release it. You do not tie your identity or your happiness to the result. You find your fulfillment in the quality of your presence during the action itself. Herein lies a beautiful and profound paradox of creation. The moment you genuinely and completely let go of your need for a specific outcome is often the very moment the universe can finally deliver it to you. Your needy, attached, controlling energy was creating resistance. It was a form of energetic static, telling the universe, I don't trust you to handle this. I don't believe it's really coming. This creates a counter-frequency of doubt. When you truly surrender, when you release that resistance and enter a state of peaceful trust, the state of Wu Wei, you become a clear and open channel. You signal to the universe, I am at peace, because I know it is done. This clarity allows the manifestation to arrive in your reality with astonishing speed and grace. So how do we practice this liberating art of non-attachment in a practical way? First, you must consciously redefine your definition of success. From this day forward, success is no longer defined as achieving your external goal. Success is defined as your ability to maintain your inner state of peace and joy throughout the process of achieving the goal. Your inner state becomes the primary prize. If you can remain in a state of peaceful, joyful trust on the journey, you have already won. The external manifestation is then just a bonus, a delightful reflection of the victory you have already secured within yourself. Second, adopt the powerful mantra. This, or something even better. When you set your clear intention, after you have visualized it and felt it as real, append this sacred codicil to your prayer. I am choosing to experience this beautiful, loving relationship, and I am open to this, or something even better for my highest good. This small addition does something miraculous. It releases the ego's rigid, fearful grip on one specific, limited version of what it thinks will make it happy. It acknowledges that your conscious mind has a limited perspective, and it opens the door for the infinite wisdom of the universe to bring you a reality far grander, more beautiful, and more perfect for your soul's evolution than you could have ever conceived of with your own mind. Finally, the ultimate antidote to attachment to the future is a profound and loving immersion in the present. When you are truly fulfilled in the now, you cease to desperately need anything from the future to complete you. So, practice presence with passion. When you eat, just eat. Savor every flavor and texture. When you walk, just walk. Feel the sensation of your feet on the ground and the air on your skin. When you are in a conversation, be fully there. Listen with your entire being. The more you anchor your consciousness in the rich, full, and complete reality of the present moment, the less power the ghosts of the future will have over you. True freedom is not getting everything you want. True freedom is being deeply and unshakably at peace, whether you get what you want or not. It is discovering that your true home is not in a future destination, but in the sacred, eternal journey of the present moment. This profound state of freedom, of non-attachment, of joyful presence, can only be fully realized in one place. It is the destination of every spiritual quest, the answer to every question, the heart of all reality. It is the only place life truly exists, the eternal now. We have walked a long and winding road through the inner landscapes of the soul. We have learned to release the heavy burdens of the past and to let go of our anxious striving for the future. And in this release, we arrive not at a new place, but at the only place we have ever truly been. We arrive at the destination of all spiritual seeking, the answer to every question, the ultimate ground of all reality. We arrive at the eternal, unending, and ever-present now. For our entire lives, we have been under the spell of a great and powerful deception, an illusion conjured by the conditioned human mind. It is the illusion of psychological time. We have been taught to believe that life is a linear journey from a real past to a real future, and that the present moment is merely a fleeting, insignificant stepping stone between the two. We live our lives psychologically in memory and anticipation. Our minds are either ruminating on what has been or rehearsing for what is to come. In doing so, we almost completely miss the only thing that is ever real, the only point of access we have to life itself. I am here to share with you the simplest, most profound, and most liberating truth you will ever hear. There is no past, there is no future. There has only ever been, and will only ever be, the now. The past exists only as a collection of memory traces in your mind, neurological ghosts that you choose to reanimate with your present moment attention. It has no reality of its own. The future exists only as a collection of mental projections, a dream of what might be, constructed by your mind in this moment. It too has no reality of its own. The only place where life happens, the only arena where you hold any power, the only point where you can connect with God, with the universe, with your true self, is this single, infinite, ever-present moment. Imagine your life is not a long, horizontal timeline, but a magnificent vertical necklace made of countless luminous pearls. Each pearl is a perfect, complete, and wholly now moment. Most of humanity spends its existence doing one of two things. We are either looking backward, constantly re-examining the pearls that have already passed through our hands, endlessly polishing the ones we liked and trying to scrub the flaws from the ones we did not. Or we are craning our necks forward, straining to see the pearls that lie further down the string, consumed with anxiety about what they will look like, desperately hoping for a bigger, shinier, more perfect pearl than the one we are currently holding. In this obsessive focus on what has been and what might be, we commit a silent tragedy. We completely miss the exquisite beauty, the living texture, the sacred warmth, the divine reality of the single pearl that is in our hand right now. And since life is only ever comprised of these right now moments, we miss our entire life. We live as ghosts, haunting a past that is gone and a future that never arrives, completely absent from the only reality there is. The great spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle calls this addiction to past and future psychological time, and it is the primary source of all human neurosis and suffering. It is vital to distinguish this from clock time. Clock time is the practical, conventional use of time for navigating the physical world. We use clock time to set appointments, to learn from past experiences, to plan a trip, or to build a house. This is a useful tool. The problem arises when this tool takes over our psyche, when we begin to live in psychological time. Psychological time is the ego's playground. The ego cannot exist without it. The past provides the ego with its identity. It constructs a story of me from memories of wounds, achievements, grievances, and successes. I am the person who was hurt in this way. I am the person who achieved that. Without the past, the ego does not know who it is. The future, in turn, provides the ego with its promise of salvation or fulfillment. It constantly projects a future moment where it will finally be happy, whole, or complete. I will be at peace when I get that new house, when I find that partner, when I finally get recognized. This seeking is a bottomless pit, because even if you achieve the goal, the ego will simply project a new future destination. It is never satisfied with the now, because in the true, deep now, the ego dissolves. This addiction to psychological time is also what keeps the pain body alive. The pain body is the accumulation of all the old, unprocessed emotional pain from your past, your personal pain, and your share of collective human pain. It is a semi-autonomous energy field that lives within you, and its only food is more pain. It lies dormant for periods, but it becomes active when something in the present triggers an old wound. It then rises up, takes over your mind, and forces you to relive and re-feel old, painful emotions. It feeds on negative thinking and drama. The pain body cannot feed on the present moment. Pure presence is like a brilliant light that dissolves the pain body. Its very survival depends on pulling you into the past and future. The portal of escape is always and only the now. Similarly, all anxiety is future-oriented. Anxiety is the fear of something that might happen. It is a creation of the mind, a catastrophic fantasy about a future moment. It cannot exist in a state of pure presence. When you are utterly and completely present with what is, you are simply dealing with the reality of this moment. You might be taking practical action, but you are not experiencing the emotional turmoil of anxiety, which is always about a non-existent future. So how do we escape this prison of psychological time? How do we find this elusive present moment? You do not find it by trying. You do not find it by thinking about it. You find it by dropping out of the thinking mind and into the realm of pure sensation and awareness. It is a shift from doing to being. I invite you to take this shift with me now, in a deep meditation on the now. I invite you to find a comfortable position. Close your eyes. Let your first act be the simple noticing of your breath. The breath is your most faithful and reliable anchor to the present moment. It is never happening yesterday. It is never happening tomorrow. It is always only now. Feel the sensation of the cool air entering your nostrils. Follow it down into your lungs. Feel your abdomen gently rise. Then, feel the gentle release as you exhale. Do not try to control it. Simply be the silent, loving witness of the breath. Each breath is a pearl on the necklace of life. Be here for this one, and now this one. Now, bring your awareness from the breath and guide it deep inside your body. Feel the subtle field of energy that animates you from within. You might perceive this as a gentle tingling, a vibration, or a sense of warmth and aliveness. Feel this life energy in your hands. Feel it in your feet. Feel it in your legs, your arms, your chest. This is what is often called inner body awareness. It is a powerful portal to the now. When your consciousness is fully occupying your inner body, it cannot be lost in the abstract world of thought. You are dropping anchor out of the stormy seas of the mind and into the calm, deep waters of your own being. Rest here. Feel the simple, silent joy of being alive. From this place of inner presence, let us gently open our senses to the world around us, but in a new way. We will sense without labeling, without the mind's constant commentary. First, bring your awareness to the faculty of hearing. Just listen. Let sounds wash through you. Do not try to identify them. Do not label a sound as a passing car, a distant siren, or a bird singing. Let go of the words. Instead, hear the pure vibration of sound itself. Notice the texture of the sounds. Notice the silence that exists underneath and between all the sounds. The silence is the canvas. The sounds are the paint. Become aware of the silent canvas. Now, if your eyes are gently open, allow yourself to see, but again, without the mental label. Pick one object in your field of vision and look at it as if you have never seen it before. Let go of the word lamp or wall or plant. Simply perceive the raw sensory data. See the play of light and shadow upon its surface. See the nuance of its color. See its form, its texture. You are bypassing the thinking mind and experiencing the miracle of pure perception. Now, bring your awareness to the feeling of your body in this space. Feel the subtle sensation of the air on your skin. Feel the points of contact between your body and the surface that supports you. Feel the weight of your own limbs. Be utterly and completely present with the raw data of physical sensation. As you rest in this state of heightened sensory awareness, thoughts will inevitably arise. The mind will try to pull you back into its world of labels and stories. This is natural. Do not fight it. When a thought appears, simply notice it. You can even say silently, thinking, and then, as gently and as lovingly as you would guide a lost child back home, escort your attention back to your anchor, back to the feeling of your breath, back to the aliveness of your inner body, back to the sounds in the room. Each time you notice you are lost in thought and you gently return, you are strengthening your muscle of presence. Each return is a victory. As you practice this, you will begin to sense something profound. Underneath the breath, underneath the inner body aliveness, underneath all the sensory input and the fleeting thoughts, there is a deep, profound stillness. It is a silent, aware presence that has been with you your entire life. It is the witness of all your experiences. It is the sky in which all the clouds of your life have passed. This stillness is your true nature. It is timeless. It is formless. It is eternal. It is the now, embodied. The now is not just a fleeting moment in time. It is the timeless, spacious dimension of your own consciousness. It is the only place you can find true peace, for peace is not the absence of problems, but the presence of your own being. It is the only place you can access your true power, for your power is not in controlling the future, but in your aligned presence in this moment. And it is the only place you can connect with the divine, for God is not a historical figure or a future promise. God is the living, breathing presence that animates this very moment. To live from this realization does not mean you cease to function in the world. You still use clock time to plan and to learn, but you do so from the deep well of presence. Your primary home base is always, and only, the now. When you learn to live in this state of radical presence, when the now becomes the foundation of your life, a final and magnificent realization dawns. You stop seeing yourself as a small, separate consciousness trying to connect with a vast, distant universe. The illusion of separation dissolves completely, and you come to know, not as an intellectual belief, but as a direct, irrefutable experience, that you are not in the universe. You are the universe, experiencing itself. As you learn to abide more and more in the timeless, spacious dimension of the now, something extraordinary begins to happen. The final and most fundamental illusion, the very bedrock of the egoic self, begins to dissolve. This is the illusion of a separate you who is being present or having an experience. Up until this point, the journey has been framed as you, the subject, observing the objects of your experience, your thoughts, your body, the world. But in deep presence, this subject-object split collapses. The sense of a doer, a thinker, an experiencer begins to fade. There is no longer the feeling of "I am watching my breath." There is, quite simply, the breathing. There is no longer "I am listening to the sounds." There is only the hearing. The feeling of being a small, separate consciousness looking out at a vast universe begins to feel transparent, flimsy, and ultimately untrue. And in the silent space that this final dissolution leaves behind, the ultimate truth of your being rises like the sun. The whisper of the universe that you were straining to hear at the very beginning of our journey together, you now realize with a sudden, joyful shock of recognition that it was never coming from outside of you. It was the echo of your own soul. The divine consciousness you were seeking to connect with was never separate from you. It was, and is, your own. The light you were looking for is the light you are looking with. The seeker and the sought, the listener and the whisper, the creator and the creation are and have always been one and the same. For your entire life, you have believed yourself to be a single, separate drop of water. You felt you were flung from some unknown, distant source, tumbling through the air on a lonely and precarious trajectory. As a separate drop, you experienced a world of fear. You feared being dashed against the rocks. You feared being sullied by the dirt of the world. And most of all, you feared your own ultimate evaporation, your own death. In your profound sense of isolation, you sought out other drops, hoping that by clinging to them, you could quell the deep, existential loneliness that haunted you. You spent your life as this separate drop, longing for something you could not name, a feeling of homecoming, a distant memory of a vast and peaceful wholeness. You longed to return to the great ocean. This entire journey we have taken quieting the mind, healing the shadow, releasing the past has been the journey of this single drop. And the final awakening, the ultimate realization, is the moment the drop understands, with a flash of divine, irrefutable knowing, that it is not, and never has been, separate from the ocean. Its very substance is ocean. Its journey was not about the drop becoming the ocean. How could it? It was already made of the ocean's water. The journey was for the drop to remember its own true nature. This does not negate the experience of being a drop. The form of the drop is real, unique, and precious. It is the specific, temporary way the ocean has chosen to experience itself. The drop gets to have its own unique adventure. It gets to catch the sunlight at a particular angle, to feel the wind in a way no other drop can, to reflect the sky from its own singular perspective. Your human life, with its unique joys, sorrows, talents, and challenges, is this precious, individual experience. But your true identity, your eternal and indestructible nature, is the vast, powerful, and peaceful ocean itself. When you know this, the fear of death dissolves, for you know that when the drop returns to the sea, nothing of value is lost. The form changes, but the essence, the water, the consciousness, is eternal. You simply merge back into the boundless self you have always been. Let us now dare to use the most expansive language we can. The one, formless, unified consciousness, what humanity has called God, Brahman, Source, the Absolute is all that is. In its state of pure unity, it is perfect, whole and complete. Yet it held within it a divine desire, the desire to know itself through experience. But a singular, undifferentiated whole cannot know itself. A mirror cannot see its own reflection without something to reflect. An eye cannot see itself directly. And so, this one great consciousness conceived of a magnificent cosmic play. It decided to shatter the mirror of its own being into countless points of light, into an infinite number of unique perspectives, so that it could experience its own magnificence from every possible angle. You are one of those points of light. You are one of the universe's eyes. You are not a human being trying to have a spiritual experience. You are a divine spiritual being, a fragment of God, having a human experience. You are the universe's way of smelling the fragrance of a rose. You are the universe's way of feeling the pang of a broken heart. You are the universe's way of witnessing the breathtaking colors of a sunset. You are the universe's way of experiencing courage in the face of fear, of feeling compassion in the presence of suffering, of knowing the ecstasy of love. Your joys are the universe's joys. Your sorrows are its sorrows. Your discoveries, your creations, your awakenings, these are the universe discovering itself. Through your eyes, God sees. Through your ears, God hears. Through your heart, God feels. When this truth lands in your being, not as a concept, but as a lived reality, all spiritual seeking comes to a natural and gentle end. You stop trying to get peace from an external source, for you realize you are the source of peace. You stop trying to find love, for you realize you are the embodiment of love. You stop striving to achieve enlightenment, for you realize your own awareness is the very light you were seeking. How can the ocean possibly seek for water? The quest is over. All that is left is the joyful moment-to-moment expression of the divinity that you are. How does this ultimate realization change your daily life? It changes everything, and it changes nothing. The circumstances of your life may not change overnight, but the consciousness with which you meet them is transformed. The deep, existential fear of death loses its grip, for you now identify with the eternal ocean, not the temporary wave. This brings a profound fearlessness and a new sense of playfulness to your life. The journey becomes less of a serious struggle for survival and more of a divine play, a cosmic dance, what the Hindus call Leela. You are God playing the role of you. Knowing this, you can play your part with more lightness, more humor, and more adventurous joy. Your relationships are transformed. You no longer see other people as separate, threatening, or competing egos. You see them as other expressions of your own self. You see through the mask of their personality to the divine light of the one consciousness shining within them. This gives rise to a deep, unconditional love and a boundless compassion for all beings, for you realize that in loving them, you are loving yourself. Your sense of purpose is clarified. You no longer have to search for a grand purpose outside of yourself. You realize your purpose is simply to be your unique self as fully and as authentically as possible. Your unique gifts, your passions, your quirks, these are not accidental. They are the specific colors the universe wants to paint with through you. Your purpose is to express your unique note in the cosmic symphony as beautifully as you can. That, in itself, is a profound gift to the whole. We began this journey together, seeking to hear a whisper from the universe. We have traveled through the mind, through the heart, through the shadow, and into the light. And we end the journey by realizing that there was never any separation. We are the whisper. We are the one who is listening. And we are the deep, silent stillness that holds them both. And so, our journey through the inner landscapes of the mind and spirit comes not to an end, but to a new and glorious beginning. Let us now gather all of these truths into our hearts and prepare to carry them forward, not as concepts, but as a living, breathing reality into the beautiful, unfolding mystery of our lives. And so, we return. We return from the vast, boundless ocean of universal consciousness to the gentle, beautiful shore of this present moment, to the sacred temple of your own body. The journey has been long, but it has not taken you to a new destination. It has simply brought you home to the truth of what you have always been. The quiet chamber of the heart, which we sought at the very beginning of our journey, you now know is not a place you must struggle to enter. It is your natural state. You carry its stillness within you, always. Do not feel that you must now hold on to all of these concepts and ideas. Let them go. They were merely signposts, fingers pointing to the moon. They are not the moon itself. If there is one single image to carry forward from our time together, let it be this. You are a sacred, musical instrument, exquisitely crafted for a unique purpose. Your body is the resonant wood, your mind the strings, your heart the hollow chamber that gives your note its depth. For many years, this instrument was left out in the storm of the world. It gathered the dust of the past. Its strings were tightened by fear and loosened by sorrow, and it fell out of tune with its own true nature. The journey we have taken has been the simple, loving process of tuning this instrument. In releasing the past, you wiped away the dust. In healing your shadow, you mended the cracks in the wood. In grounding yourself in nature, you secured the instrument's foundation. In learning to live in the now, you brought the strings into perfect, harmonious tension. Your task is not to play the music. The great musician, life, the universe, Godis, always ready to play. Your only task is to keep your instrument in tune, to remain present, to stay open, to keep your heart clear. When you do this, the divine music of your life's purpose will be played through you, effortlessly, beautifully, and for the benefit of all. You do not need to seek your song. Just be the tuned instrument, and your song will find you. Carry this truth with you, not as a thought, but as a feeling, a vibration held in the center of your chest. Let it be your silent mantra. I am the silent listener. I am the clear channel. The message is love. There is nothing more you need to learn, only more for you to be. There is nowhere else you need to go, only deeper into the here and now. The journey is not over, it is just beginning, but now you walk it with new eyes and a new heart, knowing the truth of your own magnificent being. Trust yourself, trust your journey. You are guided, you are loved, and you are whole. Rest in your own being. You are home.